Welcome to the world of Q&A, sir. Where the past, the present, and the future of the gaming, they all converge and we talk about them and have a great time. I've been sitting here for 25, maybe 30 minutes, just letting the anticipation and the hype and the energy all build up. So you've all been excited for that, right? It's the 46th episode of Q&A, sir. And it's the least organized one so far. I'm a mess. It's not. I've actually, if you'd asked me a few hours ago, are you all ready for Q&A, sir? Have you set some topics and considered this properly and spent a bit of time on it? I would have told you, yes, I bloody well have. I've got topics. I've put some effort into the background. The foreground is nicely animated. Even my umbrella is animated again. I'm set and I'm ready to go. And then who knows what happened, and here we are, bang on 9 o'clock, ready to put it all into practice. Is that an umbrella above my head? It is an umbrella with rain dropping down it. You love the random ones. It's going to end up, you know how this show works. If you don't know how this show works, you're about to find out. We have conversations. I've got Peter, Replicant, Isla, Wayne's here, usual kind of people showing up. Painful Discourse, I've not seen a Wii yet, but I'm going to scroll up a little bit and it's probably there. There we go, Painful Discourse with a Wii. Replicant's getting in on that as well. So as we go, people will come in. You'll talk to me in chat. I'll read it all because that's more interesting than me. And we'll have a nice time. Sauron Grant's here. Welcome, Sauron Grant. Haven't seen your name for a little while. Kratos is around. Hello, fellow Sony fans. See, this is the joy of it, Kratos, because I'm so open to all of the platforms and all of the fun. Hopefully, then there are fans of everything here as well. Dank Nate, loads of fire, likes the background. We do have people have seen the background. People have complimented the background. No one has told me what game it is yet. I think it will go fairly quickly, despite there's no really obvious clues as to what it is, apart from the fact that it's right at the start of a game that a lot of people have probably played fairly recently. So I think it will go fairly fast. The OST might be a bit more tricky. The OST is quiet but scary. So the OST has a fair mix of volumes, so I don't want to flip it to a higher volume just in case. You're very welcome to lurk, Sauron Grant. Obviously, I say that all the time. You're very welcome to sit there and not talk because you don't want to talk or because you're busy doing other things with your hands. Whatever is absolutely fine. In terms of talking, you've also got options to join Discord. So there's a Discord server. If you go into the Game On Daily server, hit one of the waiting rooms over there. It's not completely open. I'll drag you in and you can talk for a couple of minutes. Say what you want to me and to everyone about the topics or about whatever the hell you want. It's lots of fun. Again, very optional, and at some point during the show there will be nice formal box for you to put in any questions, comments, not riddles, but anything that you want addressed at the end of the show. Riddles, like puzzles in games, make my brain melt on the spot if I'm live, so no riddles please. And so we'll get into it. No, of course we won't get into it, because before we do that, a word from our sponsor. It's Game On Daily. Our sponsor has a wonderful website that is a little bit broken just at the minute, but I'll fix that once the show is done. It's an aggregation platform. All of your gaming content is there right now. All of your friends are totally using it all the time. You can find brilliant content creators there. It's not all our content. It is aggregated content. So from content creators all across the world, hopefully you will find some new favorites. That is the point of it. Do keep an eye on it. Do bookmark that website because my goodness, it's going to be brilliant at some point. It's getting there. It's a very pretty website. It works very fast. It's got a lot of content on it, but its future is really impressive. You'll see. How are we all doing this evening? That's a nice open question that you can have a think about, because you can take it at face value like you do when someone walks past you at work and you're like, oh, I'm all right, weather's nice. Or you can look internally deeply and think about how you're doing and share it with the world. Or you can go somewhere in between. But as always, let's get into some games. What have we all been playing this week? And when I do that, when I ask a question and then I move on before I've had a single answer, previous question is still open. You can go back, you can answer all of them, they're there, you can just say things. Wayne is still on Forza Horizon 4, so Wayne was playing Forza Horizon 4 last week, which is fine. I play a lot of games week on week. How far through it are you now, Wayne? give us your progress report. Have you discovered all of the roads? Have you beaten all of my speed time trap things? You won't find many. Oh, was it Forza Horizon 3 last week? The numbers are very confusing. So, okay, so you're making serious progress. One thing I've forgotten, Wayne, have you done 5 and then looped back? Or is 5 coming? Are you working your way up to it? Ricardo, good evening, welcome. Danknate is on Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Danknate, is it at 96? Is it brilliant? Are you having the best time? Tom's absolutely buzzing. Tom, you know what I'm going to ask. What is for dinner? And those that don't jump in on the streams that I do on this channel, so I use this channel for live streaming games as well, and Tom is usually there and usually cooking something delicious, so have to ask. Replicant, see, Jedi, are you playing that on your PC? Is it working now? Same question on Zelda, is it brilliant? And you started a Rise playthrough. How can you start a Rise playthrough and not finish it? It only takes 6 hours. I played Rise, I streamed the whole of it within the last couple of years, and it is still very, very pretty and very, very good up to the point that you go back to Rome, which isn't a spoiler, like that's like the game. Then the whole thing falls off a cliff. So curious how you find that. That's something I might not have observed my first time through it, but my second time through it, with the benefit of hindsight, really good game. Until you suddenly get to this point where you go, oh, they ran out of time here, didn't they? Had to hit that launch. Ghostwire Tokyo you're still going for. Sauron Grunt, are you enjoying it or has it got repetitive? Because the main criticism that people level at Ghostwire Tokyo is that it's all pretty, it's like a really nice setting and you get into it and it's good, but then at some point, a number of hours in, it starts to feel repetitive. I've not played Ghostwire Tokyo, so I have not hit that point yet. I'd love to know if that's how you're feeling it. John Rocks is a VR player. What a legend. Good, John Rocks. Gran Turismo 7, Walkabout Mini Golf, and you just started Red Matter 2, so those are all going to be PSVR 2 that you're on there. Isn't Walkabout Mini Golf like ridiculously fun for something so simple? If you've never played that, if you have VR or if you don't, it's as simple as mini golf, and you play it. The course is, because it's not real life, it's virtual reality. They can be quite outlandish and silly, but besides the silliness, it pretty much sticks to quite real world physics. The only thing that's amiss is that your golf club can't collide with scenery. So that's the first thing you notice when you go into it. It's like, oh, I can, if my golf ball is right up against an obstacle, I can hit through the obstacle, that's no problem. But besides that, very much just like playing mini golf. It's very social. You just get in there, you laugh at people, and you talk, and you have fun. So I'll jump on some Walkabout Mini Golf at some point. I've only played it once or twice. And Red Matter 2 I've heard really good things about. It's supposed to look very pretty on the PlayStation VR 2 and supposed to use the haptic feedback in the controllers very well. But again, not played that one. Tom, you don't know what's for dinner yet? You're getting to know and showing a new housemate around, so you just got to that stage of planning food. That's nice. What you should do, if you haven't already told them like about your cooking prowess, get them in on that, but don't let them have any food until they subscribe to this channel. A little bit of bribery goes a long way. The background has you stumped. Interesting, isn't it? So if you were to go for, if you were to ignore the game in the background and you were to just describe, like say what you see, what do you see? Because there's a lot of mess and a lot of lightning, but what do you see? What's going on there? Peter, you haven't played it much yet, but you enjoy 2K23 PGA Tour. And you can't play golf in real life. Is PGA Tour still golf like it was back on like the days of Atari, where you aim your shot and then you've got the moving bar and you have to get your power and time it? Super Utah, you would like Half-Life Alyx for PSVR 2. Everybody that hasn't played Half-Life Alyx should want it to go to as many places as possible. Obviously, strictly within VR. Yes, it would be a very good game if it went to PSVR 2. We'll talk about the PlayStation stuff a bit later though. So one of the main topics for today, PlayStation Showcase is happening next Wednesday. They have confirmed that they'll be talking about the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation VR 2. So we can have some guesses and some wishes on what we want to see there. Why not? Why not? Speculation's not entirely my bag most of the time, but It's coming so soon, and there's not been any other news, so we'll get into it a bit. Get some of that excitement going. Takada, you've downloaded the Division 2 for the new season. Finished it and uninstalled it again. Okay, so are you a regular, like a return Division 2 player? Every time they release a bit of new content, you consume it and then get back on. Kratos with the leftover gyros, the Greek kebab thing. Or am I completely misunderstanding that? I could be wrong. I'm not very cultured. I get food mixed up all the time, but I think that's Greek meat. Not like Greek people that you eat. That would be weird. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. And who's that on Resident Evil 4? Tom, you're still on Resident Evil 4. See, I'm kind of saving that to see what the VR content is. In fact, that's a lie. My Resident Evil journey is still... I'm like an hour into Resident Evil 7, which I'm playing in VR. I need to finish that through. I need to finish Resident Evil 8 in VR, and then I can look at going back to the other ones. Soundgar's loving Ghostwire Tokyo, but mostly playing an hour or two every other day. You've heard that there was an update today, and you can't wait to get back into it. Trying to complete all the sides before moving on with the story. Other sides, good. This is always like one of the biggest things that separates a good open world game from a bad one, is the quality of the side quests, whether they are fleshed out, like proper, well-written side quests that hit the standard of the mainline story and complement it and all of those kind of things, or whether they're just like there to eat your time. And most games, even the ones that have the good stuff. Wayne, stop speaking nonsense. No one's saying that the PlayStation VR 2 is stopping. Replicant, have I tried the non-VR Alex mod? The full game is playable now. Yeah, but that's... why would I do that to myself? Why would I do that to myself? The game is made and paced for VR. And should be played in VR. So no, I haven't tried the pancake version. It was fully playable quite soon after it came out. But no, not for me. So the golf game has several different systems that you can choose from. Is one of them VR, Peter? Can you play actual golf? Also, how does it work if... I assume it's got an online multiplayer component, so there must be fairly balanced between the different ways that you can choose to play golf. Stanknate didn't enjoy... oh, this is interesting. So you didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild, but you do enjoy Tears of the Kingdom. You're not the first person that I've seen say that. Which is very interesting to me, because I haven't played either, and I'm thinking I probably need to start with Breath of the Wild before I do Tears of the Kingdom. But seeing people say that previous best game in the universe ever isn't that enjoyable gives me a little pause for thought, pause for breathing between words. Replicant, I think I saw, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think I saw you say that you're using the DLSS 3 mod on Jedi. Is it still a bit rough even using that? Wayne, did I see that Lawnmower Sim might be leaving Game Pass? Wayne, you finished Lawnmower Sim, you don't need it. But Wayne, did you see that Power Wash Simulator might be coming to virtual reality? That's exciting, right? That's exciting. That's going to get you in there. All of this, VR2's dying. No? Power Wash Simulator, you're going to come and clean Midgard with me. You play very rough all the time. Is that one of the options? When you go through the PGA Tour Golf settings on how you want to hit the ball, it's like sensible or very rough. Use the old school bar that you have to time. Use, I don't know, whatever other methods they've got. Very rough should be an option in most games. It's much better with the DLSS mod. So, Replicant, are the problems with it performance-based, or are you hitting bugs, or like what's not very good about it now? Because I really want to play that, but I'm deciding how long to wait before jumping in on the PC, and I've obviously got a lot of things to play. Tom, it's not Mass Effect. This is interesting. I didn't think that the game in the background would stump people. I thought if I'd used it... actually, no, I'm not going to give you any clues right now. Wayne wants VR now for the power washing. Yeah, you can probably like Lawnmower Sim as well. You'll love it. If you can't, you can just like... I don't know, close your eyes and pretend you're on a lawnmower. Space Denizen, yes. Like, it's got its fan base, hasn't it? So they're gonna love it. Peep. What's the peep? What's the peep? What's the peep? Is it just a cry for attention? You have it. I'm reading everything. I've not shown any trailers yet because I can't remember how to press buttons on my keyboard. You're multitasking. That is fine. Multitask away. So what have I been playing? I've actually, I've not played anything that I haven't streamed, so you might already know what I've been playing. I'm still going through Cyberpunk. Isn't it pretty? Yes, it's pretty. Should I bring up Cyberpunk instead of a trailer? Trailers would make loads of sense. But what you really want to see is what I've been playing. Oh, I forgot I've been playing Redfall as well. Good job me, checking my YouTube channel. So here is me playing Cyberpunk. All path traced and fancy. You don't get the HDR super version here. And I haven't selected any particular part of gameplay, but I do remember this very well. So what happens here is I steal this guy's car, but he kind of whimpers and doesn't enjoy it, and I feel guilty, so I immediately get out of the car and let him have it. Make my way by foot. This is the kind of fun we have when we're streaming. Check those out at random days of the week. Yes, I'm playing Cyberpunk all path traced, and it is wonderful. Cyberpunk as a game launched in a terrible state, but most of the things that I enjoy about it now were broadly there when it came out, just with a whole load of bugs and a whole lack of polish. I got really frustrated when the game came out with pedestrians constantly walking into me and cars being like weird in their erratic behaviors. A lot of that has been fixed. They've added some enhancements and better behaviors for pedestrians and things like that, and they fixed a lot of the bugs, but not all of them. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking maybe I should try Cyberpunk, maybe I should wait a bit longer, you can very much wait for the Phantom Liberty DLC if you want, but besides that, it is ready to play and ready to have a good time in, be it Xbox, PlayStation or PC. Have a crack. Superuta, you like Jedi Survivor? Kratos, you just opened up Metroid Prime Remastered yesterday. I only made it to the first save area. Is it good? Is it actually good? Because I can't trust the Nintendo super fans. I look at that game and I've said before that I don't like an excessive HUD. I didn't like Halo's been on and off with how intense its visor is, and visors are like, they at least fit the world and make some sense, but they're still a bit annoying. And I look at the Metroid Prime Remastered gameplay, and it's a hell of a HUD. Like, that's a heavy HUD. Let me have a look. I'm going to bring it up. Metroid Prime, I can type. Metroid Prime Remastered speedrun. Spoilers incoming. No, I'm not going to watch the speedrun. Gameplay. Should we look at an IGN review? No, we'll look at Maximilian whatever. I completely misunderstood what the game was. No, I didn't. So here is Metroid Prime having way too much interface. Being played by Maximilian Dude, who I haven't watched much of his content, but he's quite well known. You probably already know of his channel more so than I do. Why? Why does it have so much HUD? And that looks crap. Are you telling me this is a good game? I will take your word for it and add it to my list of like might get to one days. I know by reputation it has some pedigree, and Samus is probably one of the most interesting Nintendo characters to me. I want Zelda to Link and Zelda to be interesting, but I don't see that yet. I will play those games though and see if they are or see if they're not. I've not cast my judgment on them, but Samus looks interesting as a character, as a setting, as all the rest of it. Luke Steele, welcome. Metroid Prime is actually good. Really impressive tech for the Switch. Wow, there's that conversation coming up again. Does it count? If something's really impressive for the Switch, am I then having more fun than I would if I was playing something else? Or am I just going to be frustrated by the Switch? Don't know. I don't play a lot on the Switch. I do have one. I played Fire Emblem Three Houses was the main thing that I sunk any time into. But those Zelda games, I am going to get there one day. Look up Benjamin Winter's Cyberpunk videos. What are they? Space Denizen? Are they highlighting the bugs? Are they highlighting some gameplay? Are they showing it in VR? Because I'm definitely playing that game in VR after I finish it. Get Gaz to press the buttons. May not hit the correct ones, but he can press them. Nobody should like trust Gaz to press buttons. Did you see his live stream the other day? I'm going to bring it up. Like, it's mean to point at Gaz and laugh, but at the same time, he can take it. It's fine. Let's bring up Gaz's channel. One moment. I've forgotten how to YouTube. Pressing buttons is difficult. For comparison though, just while I'm looking for this, you take a moment to look at my background and efforts and my umbrella with the rain and all of these things that I do for you. And then, is this the correct one? And then look at this fucking nugget. Gaz trying to do his own stream has no idea how he's managed to break his camera like this. What a mess. And then he got confused on how to use Discord at the same time as his camera, and then he fell asleep. So no, don't get Gaz to press your buttons. That would be a mistake. Three Houses is your favourite Switch game. I wanted to love it, and then I didn't. It's still my favourite Switch game of the ones that I've played, because I've played very few. But I rather suspect there will be other Fire Emblem games that I like more. Three Houses wasn't as good as the Shining Force games that I used to play. Like, it starts strong, it's going well, and then it goes, meh, fuck the story, and it gets boring. You remember some of it, yeah. Yeah, it's okay to laugh. Like, Gazzy's okay because he can ride that out and carry it and still provide entertainment while everything is broken. Three Houses is turn-based, which puts you off immediately. Oh, Replicant, some of my favourite games are turn-based, and some of them, oh, there must be some tactics games that you've played and enjoyed. Whether it be, like, the Japanese ones, like the Fire Emblem ones, and like, so Shining Force 3 is one of my all-time favourite games ever, absolutely adored it. To be fair, part of that is like context and timing from my experience of gaming at the point that I picked that one up. But part of it is just that it is really, really good. But I also like Larian's games, like the Divinity Original Sin games, and then obviously things like Wasteland are turn-based as well. There's so much in the turn-based space that it hurts me to see that puts you off straight away. Everyone has their own tastes. I get put off by stealth games. Turn-based games are your stealth games. That's okay. I've reconciled our differences. We can move forwards. Space Citizen, you've been hooked on Euphoria on the Switch. You love the $2 bangers that you can find on Switch. Fair enough. I'm scared of the Switch online store. I don't go there, so I never did it. Actually, I bought Scott Pilgrim Saves the World for Tony's sake, to play with Tony, but we still haven't actually done that. Three Houses though, Replicant, it's not my favourite turn-based game, so I wouldn't suggest it as a first one to like get used to that genre, but I do recommend the genre in general. You do want to try Baldur's Gate 3, it looks very good. If you lack the patience or you have like an abundance of time, the Divinity Original Sin games from Larian are like prelude to what they're doing with that one. They're very good as well. Very good as well, especially if you fancy like, it's difficult to play a game of that scope in co-op, but if you do have the opportunity to like commit someone to 50 to 100 hours of playing a game, they're very good for it. It's good fun. Space Denizen, I should be afraid, yeah, of the Switch stuff. You're constantly adding indie games to your Switch library. So, yeah, I like my Steam library is huge with games that I've never touched, and there's a fair amount on the Xbox as well. Less so on the PlayStation, but too many games. You're enjoying Chained Echoes. That's turn-based retro. So Chained Echoes is on my list to play. I would like to. I've seen it. I know what it is. But when you say it's turn-based, that's not tactics, is it? That's not like a grid-based turn-based combat thing. That's more like a Final Fantasy kind of turn-based, old Final Fantasy kind of turn-based. You know what I mean? Bloody Final Fantasy. Why did they change it so much? Miley, you've never heard of a blood allergy test? You will Google. Yep, it's for people that are allergic to blood. which is a problem given that most people have quite a lot of it. What else anyway? So Cyberpunk I'm playing, you've all seen that. Let's look at my next game. I'm going to bring up some footage of this one as well. Again, streamed. This one's a VR game, so if you... yeah, Space Denizen on the VR mod's good. If you are not a VR fan, close your eyes. No, don't close your eyes. Keep them open. You're going to see this and you're going to love it. You're going to love it because it's so good. I've been playing Asgard's Wrath, which is from what turned out to be the golden age of VR gaming. I'm sure there's more golden ages to come, hopefully, maybe. But there was a time when Oculusy, Facebooky, Meta were investing big money into making like high quality, big budget games to play in VR. And this is one of them. And it's really, really good. And surprisingly, it might be the best looking game that I've played in VR. I'd need to think about that and like actually go back into things like Half-Life Alyx and see what else is going on, but this is very, very polished and surprisingly difficult. It's not so it's another melee game where you're hacking and slashing with your sword and shield. You should have a sword and shield, but my left hand was buggy and it wouldn't let me hold a weapon in there for any length of time, so I went one-handed instead. And it's not physical like all ragdoll and physics-based combat like Blade and Sorcery. If you've seen my Blade and Sorcery footage, you know what I mean there in terms of chaos and hilarity that ensues just from it being so organic. This one is a little bit more canned, but the way that the combat works is you can block regular attacks just by like good positioning of your sword or your shield. So if you intercept an attack, it's good. But if they do a special attack, like they flash or blue or whatever, then you have to intercept it with a certain amount of momentum and force, or it's just going to disarm you. But they're surprisingly quick. I was surprised, like, I'm at the start of this game, and I got my ass kicked a couple of times. And yes, I had one hand bugging out, and it didn't help my cause any, but I was surprised. I'm going to play that one quite a lot more. You're going to see more of this one. I'm going to get through. It's like 150 gigabytes or something, so there's a fair amount of game there, a fair amount of locations to go and explore. So I think I'll be at it for a while, but there's a lot to it and it's brilliant. One thing that makes it really interesting though is it's a Norse mythology game, which they're 10 a penny obviously, but it's a Norse mythology game that came out in fairly close proximity to God of War 2018. So God of War 2018 is obviously fairly iconic telling of Norse mythology now. But all of the characters that you know and love from God of War like pretty much exist in this world, but with a completely different imagining of them. Like I'm just guessing at a point in the video to see if I'm there. No, that's not it. That's not it. Like scanning this guy. That's Sindri. Sindri, the blacksmithing dwarf, is a huge fuck-off ogre. I don't know, like, the source material that they're pulling these things from between them. It's like clearly the same source material between Sony Santa Monica and Sanzero or whoever it is that made this one. And yeah, very different takes on the same characters. And it's cool. You're still traumatized over the shark cruelty in the stream. It wasn't cruelty. Sharks love fire and death. I literally gave it the option of eating my hand and it chose not to, so that's not really cruelty, is it? Kratos, lots of crap in foods today. No wonder people are messed up and also getting sick. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I see Isla cursing YouTube. I'm assuming if we're talking about like food issues, I'm assuming that's come from Isla. So I also am terrible with most kinds of food. Although today I had ridiculously hot chili that I made for myself. That was fun. Am I on Top Chat? Hell yes, I'm on Top Chat. First points of the day have been awarded for Isla for pointing out that I'm on Top Chat and missing loads of things. If you've left messages and I've completely glanced and like glossed over them and missed them, please accept my humble apologies. I was on Top Chat and YouTube filtered you out. Now that I'm on live chat, I will probably still miss some messages, but I'll do my best. Like, I am reading and catching what I can. I'm terrible. Tony, welcome. Thank you. We were talking about you just earlier and your Chihuahua cheese milk stuff. It's hilarious turning purple and playing games while his guests had a serious discussion. Yes, exactly. Guests can carry those things just fine. But yes. The amount of effort I put into this nonsense. Tony, nobody's got the background yet and nobody's got the OST. Everybody is welcome to have a stab at those. Of course, points are available. Yes, Kratos, you're very welcome to chat about all kinds of nonsense with whoever you want. That is fine. I always ignore you. Peter, I definitely don't. When you had tests, see, get this, I'm reading your message. When you had tests, there was very little that wasn't good for you, but curiously, you had some reaction to things that you don't like, even though you hadn't been told that was in the test file. I'm sure I've had some kind of allergy test. I've never had my blood tested for it, though. That seems like cheating. That's a shortcut. God Emperor Sofa King, welcome. We're talking Norse mythology, virtual reality melee combat, and Kratos is talking about speedos, and I don't really know. This is what we're here for, right? It's good conversation. Let's move on to the next game, shall we? Oh, I know, Peter, it's all good. It's all good. Next game that I've played. So, we had Cyberpunk, which I played with path tracing. That's like pretty futuristic and wild. We had Asgard's Wrath that I played in virtual reality on my treadmill. Also pretty futuristic. Very sci-fi, lots of fun. So to mix it up and go back in time, I spent some time yesterday. No, Tony. I spent some time yesterday playing Warcraft 3. Which was wonderful fun as well. So this is like a side question. It's not one of the topics for today. Do we have any real-time strategy fans out there? And from the entire history of real-time strategy games, what are the peak ones that you enjoy, that you remember fondly, that you either want a new version of or would be happy going back and playing an old version of, or just had a good time with when they were fresh? Because for me, I played a bunch of them, and Warcraft 3 is a standout highlight that I put a bunch of time in. Halo Wars. Halo Wars is an interesting choice. Halo Wars is I don't want to say light, but it's kind of light, kind of restrictive. It was real-time strategy made for a controller. So one of the things that I like about Warcraft 3 is that it's relatively small scale, and Halo Wars was relatively small scale as well, in that it was fairly close up and gave you a fairly limited number of units to go and fight with, and that's not a negative. That's a thing that I like about Warcraft 3 potentially. The thing that holds back Halo for me was that the building was very restrictive, right? So the combat was fine and the units were fine, the story was fine. It's a Halo game back when Halo was like super cool and everything that they did was cool. But the building was very restricted, which made it only partially a real-time strategy game. It was a real-time strategy light. But I've never played Halo Wars 2, and I'm pretty sure to this day I've got it installed ready to play. Just haven't done it yet. Which I really should. Do intend to. Space Denizen with Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer mainline or Command and Conquer Red Alert? Which did you enjoy more? I probably preferred mainline, but I played Red Alert a lot more because I had 2 copies of Red Alert on the PlayStation 1, so you could play it on its System Link LAN. I had a friend that played it. It's like CRTVs back to back to each other, playing that for hours on end. So fond memories of that one, but again, it's partly like context and environment more so than what the actual game was, which isn't to say the game wasn't brilliant, because it probably was. Red Alert was your first Command and Conquer, and you played Tiberian Sun as well. Age of Empires 2 is peak. So God Emperor Sofa King, here's a question for you, and Isla might want to chip on this one as well, because she likes, well, she's more Age of Mythology, but she's been playing one of the Age of Empires definitive editions. Today, you've got all of these different Age of Empires, with 4 obviously being fresh and shiny and new, but they're also doing definitive editions of the older ones. Do the older ones have things about them? I'm going to kill my shark, I'm going to make Replicant watch it again. Do the older ones have things about them that make them better than Age of Empires 4? Or are you doing it wrong by going back? Tony, those tentacles are the wrong colour by hentai. And you know it. You got stuck on the priest level forever. There was a Star Wars RTS replicant, like it's an obvious thing for there to be a Star Wars RTS, but yeah, I don't know it either. So is Age of Empires 2 peak or is Age of Empires 4 better? That's my question. Have I set fire to the shark yet? This clip needs to stop playing. Is the shark dead? No, there he goes. This is the upsetting moment. The shark is my friend. Egil's a good friendly shark. But he's very obedient. And he was quite happy to go and stand in front of the fire while I cruelly watched his health drain away. Egil, no! He's dead. Good times, good times. Halo Wars any good? So Space Denizen, I would still say it is good. But it might leave you wanting if you're looking for a like a base building, resource management kind of RTS. If you're looking for like Halo music and spectacle with a top-down perspective, by all means. You should make a short of that. I was gonna make a short of that. I got part way through editing a short of that. And then I didn't, because making content is difficult. Even easy, simple content like that. Holy Wars from Megadeth is better. Fair enough, Kratos. What else have we got? Warcraft 3 was what I was playing, yes. We were talking about RTSs. Warcraft 3 is still like very precious a game to me. So I played a lot of Red Alert, I played a few other ones, and in all of them, I'm not saying this as like a criticism of the games, but it was like they very much favoured turtling, and they all had their own mechanisms for trying to like pressure you to go out exploring. They all had like you're going to run out of gold if you don't go and conquer the map or whatever else it may be. But Warcraft had a more constant press to encourage you to go adventuring while you built up your base, and it was magical to me. I loved playing that. So you had these four races: the undead, the orcs, the humans, and the night elves. And within all of them, there were so many different strategies that opened up to you and let you like experiment with. This was in the days before everybody just looked up the best strategy on YouTube. So every time, like, I liked all four races, I could happily pick any of them, and each time I would have potentially a different strategy in mind to go and experiment. And it felt like I was good at it, but I was probably shit at it, really. And if I tried to play it today, I'd get absolutely decimated. So I'm just like lightly playing through the campaign to give myself a little bit of a nostalgia hit on the units and things like that, and just the feel of the combat in the game without actually doing the bit that I loved back then. Wait, is it that investigative game, Sinking City, you think it's called? It is not Sinking City. I've got some people stumped with this background, huh? And nobody's got close on the OST yet either, or even put forward any guesses, really. Which is fine. I think I've chosen well. You like the campaigns in Age 2, but Age 4 is overall better, easier for newer players, and more streamlined commands. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I've played Age 4 a little bit. I don't think I played much of the previous ones. I definitely hadn't gone through the campaigns in the previous ones. But the documentary format of 4 is really impressive. You've never played an Age of Empires and you've never played a Civ game. Replicant 4X games and Civ games are my blind spot. I'm so sure that I would love them. Like, conceptually, everything about that whole genre of games is like, yeah, this is a thing that I should go and commit a couple of lifetimes to. But it turns out I don't actually have a couple of lifetimes spare, so it's been difficult to expose enough time to go and engage with them. I want to play. So Age of Wonders 4 came out last week sometime, and I was listening to AGC talk about it and his army of frog people, and it sounds like you hear people talk about 4X games and the adventures they get up to. There's a chap that I see at work as well who's quite into them, and it's hard to tell how much of this is like really happening, how much of this is presented properly by the computer, and how much of it is like filling in the blanks with imagination as they're forming these like diplomatic relations and things are happening, betraying people, finding legendary stuff and doing all of this cool stuff. Oh damn, Replicant. I didn't expect anyone to have played a Killzone game. The OST is a Killzone game. It is. And Kratos got it just before you. Yeah. I mean, I'll ask you to be specific on which one, but once you've got the series nailed down, it's just a case of guessing from there, right? Unless you specifically recognize it. Peter Morland, there is a 4X versus first-person shooter thing. You think both have their faults and brilliant points. 4X and first-person shooters are far apart from each other, right? The last Killzone Shadowfall. Kratos takes the OST. Well done. I don't have a massively like strong ability to recall music. Some people do. Some people like hear music and know where it came from. I'm not good at that, and I'm not fond enough of Killzone to have got anywhere close to guessing that one if I had heard it. So well done. You killed for a new Killzone. You loved the multiplayer. I saw some footage. I'm assuming it was Shadowfall. I saw some footage from Shadowfall the other day that had it actually looked really good from the campaign. Didn't touch the multiplayer. The problem with the Killzone series in general that put me off of it was just that I didn't get along with the DualShock controllers. I remember playing Killzone 2, and that game pretty much like right at the opening you stand opposite a mirror, and I went to turn away from the mirror, and so the game's shot for like a weighty feel to the way that you move anyway, but combined with the whichever controller it was in that day, the DualShock I'm going to say, combined with the DualShock and the deliberately heavy movement, I went to like leave the room that you start in and went and didn't play it again. I did play a little bit of Shadowfall when that came out. Is the game chorus? The background is not chorus, nope. Killzone 2 and 3 are stuck on the PlayStation 3 and the servers are down. I heard is it the Vita one? It's still playable. That's supposed to be quite good as portable games go. Normally when people talk about Sony's like catalogue of shooters, I would typically pick Resistance over Killzone. But I've been second guessing my opinion on that recently. That maybe there's more to Killzone than I thought. Maybe I should give it more of a chance. You're going to replay Shadowfall again in the near future? Yeah, maybe I should do that. I definitely played it a bit and fell off of it though. Anyway, shall we get into the topics? Yeah, crowd cheers. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, okay. So, topic 1 for today. What we're going to talk about. I hinted at this yesterday because some people came and asked during my little Warcraft 3 stream. It's the cloud thing. Who was around for Go Live on Saturday? You don't need to answer that actually. Just like raise your hands. If you're not typing, I'm going to assume it's because your hands are raised. So, on Saturday, we had a little overly strong rant. Hargeet was quite strong in his theory that cloud gaming is like a waste of time and money and definitely not going to be a thing in the future. And unfortunately, the conversation didn't play out very smoothly because there was quite a lot of meat to that topic that never came off the bone. So I thought, hey, let's talk about it a little bit more. Painful Discourse, not for the full. It's okay. It wasn't a test painful discourse. I'm not like punishing people that didn't watch the whole show. Just curious because if you were there, then you'll know the conversation that I was referring to. And there's a little back and forth between Hargeet and KSNT, which didn't really work because they were both completely misunderstanding each other. Chronic, yes, he was definitely passionate about it, and he definitely tore his own arguments apart with passion, unfortunately. It was a conversation though, so the point that Hoggy was trying to get across was that he felt that Microsoft had put loads of money into cloud gaming, and Amazon, and at one point Google, whatever else, into cloud gaming. And for clarity, there's a big distinction between cloud gaming, like streaming a game from the cloud to your computer, so you don't need a console or whatever, like simple cloud streaming. And his argument was that that's redundant. It's got no place in the future because native hardware is getting so small and cheap and efficient that you'll be able to play a game at better quality without cloud streaming, just like built into your TV or your phone or your tablet or whatever other device that you're using. Kayasanti's counter kind of argument was more based around the other side of cloud gaming, and this is where terminology gets confusing, and I understand there's a lot of overlap and people mix them up quite often. Whenever I try and talk about anything that I like in the cloud, people pull in the other side of it as well, and there's just a big mix-up. But the bit that Kayasanti was trying to talk about being exciting was more cloud compute and scalability. So the potential for a cloud native game, or a game that handles a lot of processing in the cloud, to deliver more than your console can, because it's scalable and big and almost infinite in power. So those two were kind of bashing heads, arguing their own case, but not actually arguing the same points against each other. And the conversation got fairly derailed. Yeah, they were both right and wrong on different aspects, and it was a tough listen. So as much as I was trying to gently steer it towards like a conversation on the same page, it just wasn't happening because people didn't want it to. So my angle on it though was, I think Hargeet's point that he was trying to get across in the first place was quite interesting. The idea that cloud is like a misfire, that the industry has been chasing this dream that actually by the time they arrive it's not going to be valuable anyway, is quite an interesting conversation point. CPU cloud gaming is way more close than having a 4080 and a Fire Stick Amazon. It's funny that you mentioned that in particular, Superuta. One of the things that made me laugh when Hargy was talking about how small the hardware is, Hargy's got a 4090. A 4090 is like, see if I can get my hands on the camera, it's like this big. So yeah, that's a side point. I don't want to address that in terms of the hardware shrinking thing, but there are levels and layers to what kind of hardware is shrinking. They were talking past each other, yeah. They weren't meeting point for point, like they weren't really disagreeing with each other, but they thought they were disagreeing with each other, so it got a little bit messy. But what do we think? So if you, like, Hargeet's point is that cloud is like, I mean, he started arguing too strongly and said that it's never going to be viable or possible to do it, which is like not true. It is already viable and possible to a degree, but the point that he was trying to make is that a chip in your TV is going to be able to deliver the same or better experience than cloud compute by the time it is like ready for the mainstream. If you were running, and Microsoft is the obvious candidate because Microsoft wear their ambition on their sleeve with regards to pushing cloud and otherwise, and generally expanding their audience beyond console and like local PCs and all the rest of it. So we use them as an example, but really it is like industry wide. But say you're running Microsoft and you've got a pocket full of money and you need to put it all on cloud gaming be in the future, or cracking into like smaller scale native hardware. Where do you think you would go? Which one's gonna accelerate past console gaming and get that 4 billion gamers that they're looking for? Tom, you only tried cloud once, and hell no to that. 60 down, living in the sticks. You're interested to try next week though, when full fiber is installed and you're 5 minutes from a city centre. So in my normal DSL driven, no, I've got fiber, but not to the premises. So in my normal like UK residence with its 70 meg connection at best, cloud gaming through Stadia was very good. Like, not good enough for me as someone that's pretty anal about compression artifacts and things like that, but very playable, like workable experience. Tony, third-party exclusives for many games. That's what you do if you're Xbox boss. Tony, reframe for you then. So you're the Xbox boss, and you've been told that you need to reach 1 billion gamers. Third-party exclusives isn't going to get there. So if that's your answer, you failed the test, I'm afraid, because the console market is not going to reach that size. So let's say like you really need to blow up beyond the console and PC space. It's got to be one of these, right? You've got to look at either mobile gaming or cloud gaming, like small hardware or the cloud. But which one's going to thrive? Because I think it's a really difficult question. May have been a Wi-Fi problem also. Well, that's one of the problems with the cloud option, is it is very reliant on not just your internet speed, but how good your home network is as well. Because a lot of devices that people expect to be able to play cloud gaming on, like Tony's just said there that it's mobile gaming, which isn't necessarily true, Tony. Like cloud gaming, the Xbox One and various others are integrated into Samsung TVs, for example, and probably LG TVs and various other devices. But it still relies, like most people's TV is still connected to their Wi-Fi and isn't necessarily perfect. So there are issues in terms of quality, but the potential when it does work to have something so immediately accessible that you don't even need to download it. You can see why people buy into the dream and the concept. Muppet, you changed your mind. Mobile is in the hands of billions. Mobile is in the hands of billions, yes, but mobile is very difficult. Replicant, Microsoft has an invested interest in cloud due to Azure, and they are a service selling company. Yes, Replicant, this is the key thing, that if the conversation had like really got into the intricacies of it, that's really important. Because like of the two options, if all things were equal and they didn't have like one's going to succeed and one's not, if all things are equal, Microsoft's best play is definitely cloud because they control it, right? It's not just about Azure, it's Windows. And Microsoft have had obviously a massively dominant position with Windows for like a good couple of decades at least, and future computing platforms threaten that. But if they keep hold of cloud and if they push everything in that direction, then everything remains on Windows and they're very happy. Mobile gaming and local hardware, so Hagi's option B, where you've got like a decent chip in your Samsung TV and you can play games locally, that's technically, it might be viable. There's conversations around that and more intricacies. There always is. There's always nuance and shades to these things, but if that is a viable option, that is a difficult scenario for Microsoft because they don't control that. Samsung make that hardware, Samsung make their own operating systems, and Samsung have their own API for running games. And not just them, obviously, LG and Google and everybody else. So if all things are equal, you can understand that Microsoft would want to push things in the cloud direction. Can they pull cloud into mobile? Yeah, like if they do go the cloud option, so a person using a mobile phone could potentially access either option. A mobile phone has got hardware in it to play games, obviously. It's got loads of native games on it, and a mobile phone can play xCloud and all the rest of it. So they can kind of reach the same audience, but again, a mobile phone is never going to have a wired connection, so it's never going to be as reliable. It's a difficult one because it's never going to be as reliable in terms of latency and compression and just like reliability, I guess, being able to consistently get it playing at the same quality. Cloud is not going to touch native hardware, but in terms of what that quality might be when it's running at its best, native hardware is not going to touch cloud, because then you're talking like hardware that's that big versus hardware that's bigger than me. So in terms of what the experience is, there's pros and cons to each, which leads to the follow-up kind of question that I always ask around this topic at the moment, is what kind of content is going to blow these up in the first place? Like this audience that they're chasing that goes beyond consoles and PC gaming, what do they actually want to play? Is the power of the cloud, is the power of like an RTX 4080 remotely important in that scenario? And this is where, again, like this adds merit to what Hagi was trying to say, because unlimited power might not mean very much to those people. So maybe the tiny little chip in their phone or their TV is all they're looking for. Or maybe they're not looking for what we consider games whatsoever. Maybe the big 4 billion audience doesn't exist and they're chasing a pipe dream. And obviously being all based in the future and things that haven't happened yet, and like the difficult thing is a case of looking beyond our own perspective, because everybody here, and I know this, apart from my wife in the other room who's like giving me a courtesy view at the moment, everyone here plays games on native hardware and is like what you would consider a long time fan of gaming, right? And that's not the audience that these things are supposed to reach, which makes it difficult to look at and understand where they're going. So on the one hand, you can say, cloud gaming or mobile gaming, like, how are they going to like attract this other audience? And you can say, I don't fucking care, it's not me, I don't care. But on the other hand, it's still an interesting topic. Like, people like to see this, the direction that these big companies are going, and somewhere down the line, the directions they choose are going to impact us in some way or another, right? Tom, you agree with Kesanti that cloud could be a game-changing addition to native gaming? Tom, yes. Absolutely. Like, it's what Microsoft should be able to bring to the gaming space in terms of excitement. Oh no, Tom, she doesn't read the chat. It's a courtesy view. She's watching TV, but courtesy views are still appreciated. They all count. Tony, you're lurking. You're going to the shop to talk to people. Oh, well, yes. What kind of shop is this? Why do you need to be prayed for? God, Empress Soph, can you use cloud when you're out? For some reason I totally misread that. I thought it said that you use cloud when you're in the shower, which, like, you've got a waterproof cloud streaming device, have at it. But no, that's not what you're saying. Kills the battery on your phone. So you are using, so which cloud service are you using, God Emperor? Is this like the Xbox cloud gaming service or one of the other ones? And how do you find it? Like, what kind of games are you playing on the cloud? Replicant, you think investment in cloud is important for the future, but not at the cost of today in terms of console quality of life games and further investment in PC. Yeah, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I mean, obviously, I want all of the investment to go into the kind of gaming that I like. I don't want like Candy Crush investment. I don't care. Spend it all on me and give me the best kind of games. And Tom, in terms of what you were saying about Kesanti's point on cloud native games being exciting, absolutely. Like, this is what makes the tech scene interesting, is looking at ways to bring us things that we've never played before and do things that have never been possible before. So that other kind of cloud gaming, where you use the scalability of the cloud, you use the unlimited resources that you couldn't possibly fit into a console, I'm saving that discussion for another time, because that's, for me, that's also a big topic, a very interesting topic. But you always get so much overlap and convolution between the two things that I want to be like very specific. This is about the simple console replacement cloud streaming service. God Emperor Safe King, you're playing xCloud. Is that because you just like, you're already in the Xbox ecosystem, you've got it on Game Pass, and you might as well play the games that you've already got? Has anyone tried other services besides xCloud? Has anyone done comparisons between them for your own benefit, just to see which one works best for you? Peter Morland, you can't say it all has to go to what I want. I'm a balanced gamer. Well, yes, I am, Peter, but that's still fine. I want each and every one of those companies to invest in VR. I mean, to invest in things that I like, games that I want. Of course I do. Everybody does. I don't, like, obviously a company like Microsoft is big enough to focus on many different things at once, and I'm not suggesting that I'm upset that they're still developing Outlook. Sure, they can do Outlook and Teams and all of those kind of things as well if they want, but the stuff that interests me in the gaming space is not trying to capture mobile gamers. God Empress King, Luna is better. I don't know Luna's capabilities. Yes, I do. I had a little look at it. But they're, like, by the numbers, they're on a par with the likes of like Xbox and PlayStation and the general tier, right? 1080p. I think they might have some kind of surround sound. Isla, you invented cloud gaming. When did it start? You were doing that in 2012. What were you doing in 2012? Maybe it wasn't called online. The first streaming service back in the day. Wait a minute. You tried... So you're talking like OnLive or Gaikai, whatever it's called. Replicant. That's the one that you tried. Using TeamViewer to play The Sims remotely. Yeah, that's like conceptually similar. I'll give you that. But you definitely weren't the first person to do that, I'm afraid. OnLive was definitely like the first one that had a crack at being a commercial streaming service. That I'm aware of anyway. xCloud works just fine with your connection speed, not your preferred way to play, but it's more than playable where you are. So what, is that on your Xbox though? So Shady, are you playing... So obviously it's quite a nice convenience feature on the Xbox to be able to try a game without having to sit there and download it. I tried it. I tried xCloud a while ago on the Xbox itself, so an Xbox Series X that was wired to my decent enough connection, and I played Forza Horizon 4 on it. So this was like, I think it was pretty much when Forza Horizon 5 launched. 5 wasn't available on the cloud for a few days on that very first launch period, so I needed some footage for a video, and I played Forza Horizon 4 on the cloud. At that point in time, it wasn't particularly good, but I know that they improved it after that point. Like, there was a fairly muted press release that they've made various improvements to it. Wired connection on the console, fair enough. The Gaikai, the one that Sony bought, right? I don't actually know what technology and resources they got out of that acquisition, but so for those that didn't follow it, Gaikai and OnLive both effectively ended up with Sony through different means. They bought Gaikai for like Gaikai, I don't know what they're called. They got them for like $300,000 or something, like a pretty small amount. And OnLive, just their commercial model flopped. They went under, they folded, and Sony picked up most of their tech on the cheap. So they didn't buy OnLive, but they did pick up bits and pieces from the corpse. But they didn't really utilize it directly, because Sony's early cloud offerings were just like a load of PlayStation 3s strapped together in a data center somewhere. You've heard good things about GeForce. Was it 300 million? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was a low number that they bought them for, but maybe 300 million. Long time ago. GeForce Now is supposed to be the best one available at the moment. I've seen the claims. GeForce Now's premium tier claims that it can do 4K 120 frames per second streaming, which is like absurd. You'd think I would go and test that. I haven't gone and tested that. But I know that Nvidia are wizards, but that's the kind of claim I'll just ignore for the time being. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be, like, by a reasonable distance, the best cloud service that you can get your hands on at the moment in terms of quality and fidelity and all the rest of it. Back when it was fresh and alive still, Stadia was very good. Stadia had like low latency, good quality. You could do 4K HDR streaming, and I would make the comparison that it was Netflix quality, if that makes sense. So, because Netflix, like if you compare Netflix to an ultra high definition Blu-ray or something like that, it's definitely like notably a streaming service relative to like playing stuff natively at the highest quality. But it hits decent numbers and a decent quality that most people are happy with. Stadia was that to me. So I played, it had a few exclusive games. It had one called Guilt that was dark quite a lot of the time. And same as when you watch things, dark scenes are quite difficult for compression over the internet. And you could definitely see that it was a streaming service. You could look up at the sky and see some banding that shouldn't be there and things like that. But it was functional. I could have shown that to other people in my family and they wouldn't have identified it as a streaming problem. So, like, in terms of it being functional, and this was where Hagi undid himself a little bit, because he hadn't ever tried any of the services that he was saying are physically impossible. So it's one of those things where it's like, you've got like a decent point that we could explore, and I agree with a lot of it, but you're shooting yourself in the foot, and I don't understand why. stop and think. Oh well. Oh well. Google fumbled the bag on their model. Yeah, I mean, Stadia had a subscription service that I had for a long time, where they gave you a few games a month, and it wasn't terrible, but predominantly they made the terrible error of expecting you to buy games whilst also not giving you any kind of commitment that it was a safe place to buy games. So it was like, you've got Cyberpunk on there, it's supposed to be one of the best launch versions of Cyberpunk, but it's like 60 quid or whatever Cyberpunk costs, and everyone's kind of expecting Google Stadia to die, so when that happens I will lose my Cyberpunk. And they never took steps. It's kind of like Sony with the PlayStation VR 2 now. Like, you can look at this thing and you can go, oh, I'm tempted, but you need to help me feel confident that this is worth spending money on, and you're not going to drop it. Google Stadia lived that existence its entire time. Much cheaper than chilling out for a 4090 graphics card. Yeah, this is the other kind of... The other side to cloud streaming is where it does target people like us that use native hardware. Oh no, your earphone died. Wait, I can't wait. We're having conversations. Google kills stuff all the time, so you wouldn't invest. Yeah, and like I say, I had the subscription and I picked up, like, I had a decent library of games on there that I never really played. But, like, in terms of buying them, not a chance, not a chance. Peter Morland, I'm an honest man. I've often said that I've subscribed to every service going. Yeah, I do subscribe to every service going. I don't have a subscription to GeForce Now. I don't have a subscription to like Boosteroid or any of the other cloud services, and I don't have subscriptions to Apple Arcade or Google's equivalent. So when I say I subscribe to everything going, it is limited to things that vaguely interest me at some point in time. And Stadia vaguely interested me. I had to see what the tech was all about. Got Emperor Sofa King, yeah, but you don't need a 4090. You can still get away with 30 series cards at a cheaper price. Well, it's still, like, this is specifically Nvidia's service. They're the only ones that are trying to... Is that true? No, like Shadow Play or whatever they're called. Not Shadow Play, that's an Nvidia technology. Shadow, and I think there's one, I'm trying to remember the names of all of the smaller scale streaming ones that are trying to present a high-end PC in a remote location. There are, like... That is a feasible, viable, potentially appealing model that might kind of replace the native experience for some people. I don't know. We'll see. I don't imagine that's going to be like, I don't know. I don't know how big that's going to be, but I think it's like an almost, it's a parallel conversation to the kind of cloud gaming that's supposed to hit the mainstream. Still cheaper to subscribe to GeForce for a month or two when I feel like playing a game like Cyberpunk in Overdrive. Exactly, that's the perfect example, isn't it? Overdrive, path tracing mode. If you want to play that at home, it's like 1,000 quid or whatever. If you want to see what it looks like streamed over the internet at good enough quality, then you subscribe for a couple of months, or subscribe for a year or 2 years, and you're able to play that game with those bells and whistles, with all of the graphical tricks, and maybe there's a little bit of compression artifacts or a little bit of latency, but it's a viable option that has something to offer, something fairly unique for the price point. So, how do I have Ubisoft Plus but not GeForce Now? Well, because, Tom, for all I've said there, GeForce Now doesn't have anything for me apart from testing. Oh, AJH, that's a good point. No one's got the background yet. It's not Ori, and it's not God of War, and it's not Mortal Kombat. So, Tom, why would I have GeForce Now? Like, in what scenario would I use it? Because if I didn't have like the PC that I've got, then GeForce Now could absolutely make sense. I could say, oh, I want to try Cyberpunk Overdrive mode. I want to have a look at it. But I've got the PC that can do that. And GeForce Now isn't like a library of games as such. It's just a means to play the games that I've already got. And I never leave my house except to go to places that don't have connections. So, on the go, on the train. See, this is like a difficulty that I have with cloud gaming in general, and devices like the Logitech or Logitech, whatever you want to call them, G Cloud device that existed specifically for being able to play cloud streamed games on the go. Like, on the go is the one place I can't have a reliable connection. Why would I want to cloud stream games in that scenario? So those are also like a really specific use case. You have to kind of live in like London or something to fancy having a go on a device like that, I think. Or know that you're going somewhere with a good connection on a regular basis for that device to make any sense. Peter, you know fuck all about the background, but for some reason you're thinking Halo. You know fuck all about Halo as well then, because no, it's definitely not. No, it's not. It's not Halo. To be fair to you, there are some cool scenes of similar colour, and Halo does have lightning and stuff, but it's not Halo. Better off getting a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally. Exactly. So Replicant, if I... Even those devices, I think, to be honest... No, I don't know. I might invest in one of those. If I was on the go, if I was spending a lot of time on trains and it wasn't going to make me sick to try, probably a dedicated gaming device would make sense for me in that scenario. And the reason that I'm hesitant on that is because in terms of content, I think there's a fairly rich variety of content on Apple Arcade or Google Play Arcade, or even like the Netflix subscription service. I assume you can install those. I think that if I were playing remotely, there probably is mobile content to be found if you know where to look. You definitely need to know where to look though, because there's a whole load of shite as well. So Shady, Ubisoft Plus actually offers games and DLC in their service. Well, so Shady, that's why I have that one, so that I can get the specialized Uno cards. I've got so many disappointing like emails from Ubisoft saying, "Hey, thanks for subscribing again. We got you and some green Uno cards. Please don't unsubscribe." They had a rough year or two of awkward emails. Is it a Blue Point game? It's not a Blue Point game, but you're right, Tom. Blue Point games do have good lightning sometimes. But no, it is not Demon Souls. Uno card cosmetics is the main thing that I got out of Ubisoft Plus, yes. Right. No, I don't subscribe to Uno, Peter. I subscribe to Ubisoft Plus. I don't think you can subscribe to Uno. Maybe you can, like, monetize the crap out of everything, right? There's also blue pointy things. The blue pointy thing, oh no, not going to give you any clues. Going to leave that up there for the guesswork. I'll give you one. No, I'll give you a clue. No, I'm not going to give you a clue yet. We've got more topics to get through. So, what was everyone's answer? If you were leading Microsoft, because, I don't know, Phil Spencer's gone. You stepped into a Microsoft boardroom with Satya Nadella and he said, Phil's gone because he didn't reach 500 million people in the Xbox ecosystem. You've got to do that. We'll give you as much money as you want, but you have to choose one area to invest in. Are you tackling mobile? Are you pursuing cloud? Like, what would you do? Ignoring all of the rest of the stuff about like the content that meets them where, or what kind of like control and access Microsoft would have in different scenarios and outputs. Just which one's going to be big? Where's the success? What's the smart play? Because I still don't really know the answer. I'd probably pocket the money and run. Sauron Grant would go for mobile. You'd be trying to get that Xboxy Windowsy storefront on mobile if you can, trying to break the duopoly. You think mobile and cloud are almost the same thing to the casual, but that's what makes the conversation interesting, Muppet, because if they are the same thing, then there doesn't necessarily need to be both, right? That's kind of what Hargit was trying to get at. If mobile can fill the gap that they're trying to fill with the cloud, then why are they wasting money on the cloud, is what he was trying to get at. It's a whole lot of tech headache for something that might not actually have a market if mobile is like already filling that void. And by mobile, I include like all kinds of hardware. So Shade, if your goal was to make as much money as possible, it would be mobile. That's the scary, like, which is the reason that I don't trust any of them, is because whether it be like Sony, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nintendo, bloody EA, Take-Two, even like the cool ones like Devolver Digital, yes, making as much money as possible is like the driving force. That's why I'm always so skeptical of everything that they're doing, because there's so much threat to everything that's good about gaming just being taken away by bad monetization. I call it the Terminator principle, because my theory on everything is that you can have something brilliant, and Terminator, the films were brilliant. Terminator 1 was a great film, and Terminator 2 was like incredible, and the story was so well rounded. It was done, it was concluded, it was happy, everyone enjoyed Terminator. Everybody liked Terminator 2 more than Terminator 1, but as a duo of films, they were perfect. And then some money hungry, greedy fuckwits made Terminator 3 and just ruined everything. And that happens, like the Terminator principle applies to absolutely everything. Anything that's successful, anything that's good, anything nice that we have is liable to get ruined by greedy bastards that just want money. They see opportunities for money and they chase that. Pretty much the same with Alien. No, Alien 3, like, sit in a room swearing for an hour and a half. Cool. Yeah, AJ, there's probably like loads of examples of things that you can apply that to. Some people might apply it to Halo. That would be a little bit more controversial. To be fair, like Halo's not quite in that same realm, but pretty much anything. Like if you like something, chances are it's going to get ruined by money people. And that's like, I don't want gaming to get ruined by, and you've seen it happen in the mobile space. There was a time, like if you go back far enough, when mobile games were fresh on the scene, there was a time when they were quite good. Like Isla was playing Plants vs Zombies the other day, but she's very much playing the first one because the second one was ruined by the chase for money. And I see, like, I just look at gaming and I'm like, don't chase it too hard. I need good things. I need my games. Keep your fucking microtransactions up, you bastards. Chase your money elsewhere. Alien 3 was good. See, I'm not as much of an Alien person. I am an Alien person, but those films, they don't have the same like place in my childhood as the Terminator ones, which is why I use Terminator as an example. My recollection of the Aliens films were like, 1 was really tense and cool, 2 was like action blockbuster cool, 3 was supposed to be tense, but it was just people sitting in a room swearing for an hour and a half. Maybe there was something good to it, but I didn't enjoy it as much. So, and then there was Resurrection and essentially Prometheus and whatever else. I don't know. Don't follow them so closely. Loot box and battle royale has already ruined gaming, kind of. Yeah, but at the moment, God Emperor, they're in a place where like those things exist and they suck, but you still get cool stuff as well. Like there's still enough money and enough of an audience that will buy like good games that they still make good games. I don't want like the industry to get to a tipping point where like I didn't particularly like God of War Ragnarok, but to use it as an example, I don't want it to get to a point where Sony are like, hey, Santa Monica Studio, that God of War looks really cool, but it's not going to make as much money as this mobile game that we can monetize in this particular way, so that's what you're doing now. And that's such a real threat to gaming. The hope is that like will remain a profitable audience as well, and somehow people that are passionate about games will keep making games for us. And there is like within the development community there is definitely passion as well as the chase for money, but without the chase for money stuff don't get funded, so it's a balancing act that might all blow up in our faces. Peter Morland, 1 and 2 were awesome, 2 your favourite. After that it went very wrong. Just keep the love for Peter, Aliens or Terminator or something else? Replicant, you are a sucker for Overwatch loot boxes. Gotta get your cosmetics. Oh, I mean, again, Gaz is legendary for his spending on sticker packs. You know how he spent like over £1,000 on Apex Legends? It's kind of my son's fault to an extent, So Apex Legends, this is a story that you might already know, but I've not told it for a couple of years. And Gaz doesn't talk about it very much. Gaz played Apex Legends a lot. He was a big old sweat who put a lot of time into it. Big old sweat. But he wanted to have all of the best stuff, and he spent loads and loads of money on cosmetics and things like that. Getting his stupid Apex loot boxes to get whatever he could. But Apex Legends has these heirloom items, and you have to collect 150 heirloom shards, and then you can get like a really special, quite hard to get item for a character that lets you stand out and lets people know that you play the game too much or you spend too much money or whatever else it may be. My youngest son, who was probably 9 at the time, was just like trying his hand at Apex Legends with his friends from school, and it was like his first day playing it pretty much, and for some reason Apex Legends awarded him 150 shards to unlock any heirloom item that he wanted. And this was a thing that was like, it's not really a thing that people were aware happens in Apex Legends, that you can get this like lucky drop that lets you have one of them. My son got it, and I mentioned it to Gaz because I knew that he was quite keen on getting an heirloom, and Ryan happened, this is my son is Ryan, happened to want the same heirloom that Gaz was chasing after. And so I told him, like, Ryan's got an heirloom, and Gaz kind of like lost his mind, like, that's not possible, how could that be? And his response was to go and spend hundreds of pounds to unlock an heirloom. And he spent, my son didn't spend any money, by the way, he got it from like a free drop. Like his first, like, the enticement drop that's supposed to get you to explore the store gave it to him. But Gaz went and spent hundreds, and it's really funny because he spent hundreds to unlock. There was an ongoing seasonal challenge event at the time that rewarded an heirloom at the end of it if you unlocked all of the tiers of its like challenge pass. And Gaz spent and spent and spent and spent to unlock that heirloom, only to find out at the end of it that method unlocked a particular heirloom that wasn't actually the one that he wanted. So he rage burnt a bunch of money to he got an heirloom for Bangalore instead of getting one for, what's his face, the runny guy, one that jabs himself and runs. I've forgotten the character's name. Yeah. And that's the story of how Gaz wasted way too much money on Apex Legends to get Bangalore's heirloom that he didn't even want. Stuff we have to work with, eh? Cosmetics in games are just like makeup in real life. It makes nice people look daft if they overdo it. So cosmetics in games and microtransaction driven games, like in Apex and Fortnite and all the rest of it, they're garish, and that's just what they're supposed to be. But I find that it ruins a lot of like more serious tone games, MMORPGs and the like when I was playing, we mentioned last week that I had tried a bit of Guild Wars 2, and everyone was running around with like weird fire corsets and things like that. It made the whole game look silly. Amazon's New World game was a good example, because that game came out with what looked like a really nice monetization model. No subscription, you just buy the game and you can play it. You bought the game and played it a bit, and you ran into the first town wearing your like nappy and rags on your shoulders or whatever, and there were people running around in like this imperial gold nonsense dragon suit, and I was like, oh, end game players in the opening area. No, it's this fucking drop that you get from interacting with Twitch or something. But like the whole atmosphere of the game, you just decided that doesn't matter, let's market and sell stuff. And that's like, ugh. Diablo 2, you could do that and get spit emoted, yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting one to see for Diablo 4. You love cosmetics. Replicant, explain yourself. You love cosmetics in what game? You were just saying that you did the loot boxes in Overwatch, so you're one of those. Overwatch is like it's that kind of game and atmosphere though, so it's not terrible. World of Warcraft is that falls into the terrible category, but World of Warcraft is like an aged, matured MMORPG where it's an inevitable problem. When you get in an MMORPG that runs for a long time, armor and equipment and cosmetics get more and more elaborate, and they escalate and escalate and escalate to get better and better and better. So it is inevitable that everyone ends up just looking ridiculous, and it's a shame. I prefer the Burning Crusade colourful pants days over the log on today and everyone's got legendary fire all over their shoulders. Help, you can't move. You can move, you can do it. You like the cosmetics in Anthem. Ooh, good spending, good spending. Even in Assassin's Creed you've bought cosmetics. That's curious. Like, I'd never even consider buying cosmetics in single player games, really. You get something like Spider-Man, where you can unlock cool suits and wear your favourite one. Yeah, I go along with that. But if you put me into... This is why someone was asking, again, I think this was yesterday while I was playing Warcraft, someone was asking about like different IPs that you could give to studios and things that you'd want, and I mentioned a Fable MMORPG would be a thing that I want. If you had like a properly grounded, well-realised multiplayer game, I would put so much time and effort into making the character the way that I wanted. But that's different. That's not just spending for a silly hat and everybody looking silly. Also, one thing that I don't like, and this is just a me thing, not a serious thing, I don't like transmogrification systems. Lost Boomer, welcome. Made your way off of Twitch. You're very welcome here. I don't like transmogrification systems. I like most games feature them now. So like essentially they let you equip whatever gear you want for the perks and the armor and like stat bonuses to be an effective fighter. But choose a look separately so that you can make your character look the way that you want. And I totally get that. Like, it makes a lot of sense that people want to make their character look a certain way, and they should like get to use the visual styles that they've unlocked through their play or whatever else. But it takes a little bit away from choosing what equipment to wear. I much prefer, like, if looking like a clown is a compromise that you have to make to be the most powerful, then that's a decision. You have to choose, like, oh, this hat's like cool as fuck, but it doesn't go with my shoes. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna get this new lightning power and look silly, or am I gonna keep my like cool look that I've worked hard for? And I liked that. Like, I used to play with that a lot in games, and then you could like, I don't know. That's just me though. Like, I'm not going to campaign to get transmogrification systems removed from games, but I like things to have that certain realness to them. Consistency and realness just adds to the character that you're building. For me. Same with when I said on Sea of Thieves, I was really disappointed that you could select what scars you've got, because I wanted them to be real scars. That's like related, not exactly the same, but you're a fan of transmog. OCD plays a factor there, but Chronic, if you see, it would be worse for you, because if there wasn't transmogrification but you had that OCD at play, and it's probably a similar thing for me, this is why I liked it, but if you had that at play, then you'd be in a situation where actually you might have to choose your armor for the sake of how it looks, and you might have to sacrifice a bit of power for that, or you might have to specifically go out and find an equivalent item that does look the way that you like. And it's just like, it just adds a little bit more weight to what you're doing with your character, I think. There's like, oh, I could probably do like a World of Warcraft things I do and don't like podcast for 6 hours. So I won't delve too deep into other stuff that I don't like about like non-permanence for characters and stuff like that. Redfall is for fun. So Lost Boom, you're playing golf with your friends, which golf with your friends is better on PC, by the way. It's entertaining and silly on the Xbox, but on the PC you have to hit the ball with your mouth. But yes, that can be a good chaotic little laugh. I should maybe do a World of Warcraft stream. I didn't buy it while it was on sale, but I do, like, I have it installed only on like a mechanical spinny disk drive, but ready to move to a different one if I wanted to play it. I don't know though, World of Warcraft seems pointless unless you're going to really World of Warcraft and play it a lot. Ravenlock is good. I've heard that Ravenlock only takes like 6 hours to get through, so really I should probably have a crack at it. So Shady, even when you're playing a first-person game like Cyberpunk, when you're wearing something that looks stupid, you just don't enjoy yourself as much. You're willing to admit it's a you problem. But that's like... That's the thing though, like that's what I'm getting at. That's not a problem, that's a good thing. that forces your hand to explore your clothes more. Like find armor that you don't feel stupid in. And I liked that. I've always like, I don't know. Sometimes getting rid of problems doesn't make situations better. Or doesn't make them more fun. Like, I don't know. That's it. That's all I say on that. And what will I stream tomorrow? I don't know. So I've got a slightly different weekend coming up because my wife's away from tomorrow afternoon until sometime on Sunday. And I don't have an abundance of time to burn in there, but I can stream whatever I want whenever I want. I enjoy the added handicap. It's not necessarily like, it doesn't feel like a handicap. It just feels like an additional consideration. More to think about. Is Go Live going to be short on Saturday? I have said that it needs to be out very early on Sunday, as you know, so it should be a bit shorter. Home Alone, I know, wild. I've got no Kratos. I've got my two kids are still home for some of it. They're home on the Friday. They disappear off on the Saturday afternoon. And then I could like 12-hour stream. I can't because Go Live, but I don't know how I'm going to use that time. If it will be good. If it runs long, you're going to kill him. Well, it might just be like slowly pushing it to run long then, because then we'll see what happens. No, I won't. It should be short. So Shady, it needs the beast stats to go along with your particular appearance taste. That's a you problem and you're fine with that. If we always agreed with everyone, things will be boring. See, I don't think we are necessarily disagreeing. It's just that you like the easier solution, and I'd rather force you to go and find that perfect bit of armor. You'd like it all the more if you did find it. That's what I'm getting at. If there wasn't a transmogrification system, but you found an item that had your perfect stats and your perfect look, that would be your best item ever. Is it worth it? Who will do your thumbnails? You won't need... What? I'm talking about you killing Gaz, right? Oh, then you have to go to jail. No, you get internet access in jail. Not top chat. User error. It's okay. I've had more of the coffee. It should be fine for now. Eat forbidden stuff. No, the stuff that I'm forbidden from eating is like stuff that would poison me, so I don't think I'll do that. Stop eating shoes. I don't eat shoes. Don't quote that. Let's do the next topic. So we had a little go at the cloud thing, had a little conversation there, just kind of expanding on a conversation that almost happened on Saturday that I think could potentially have been a good conversation. So let's talk about the Sony showcase thing, right? Sony have announced they have a showcase, the first showcase that they've had for a couple of years. So hopefully going big, bright, attention-seeking, exciting showcase next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I don't typically do like guessing and speculation on what's coming and what's not. Oh, wait, I'm going to catch this from So Shady. So, you understand my point now? What I described would feel better overall. You're a Sith type though, the quick and easy path. Everyone, So Shady, everyone is really. Everyone always will take like path of least resistance to get the rewards that they want. But for me, I'm a prick. I'm like, no, I remember feeling good about something ages ago. I want that back. Will there be much VR in there? So they've said, this is what I'm hoping for, Tom, and this is obviously, everybody knows that I like have quite an interest in VR. Sony have said that it is a PlayStation 5 and a PSVR 2 showcase. They've not mentioned PC at all in there, but that doesn't mean they won't show anything on PC. What I'm hoping on the PSVR 2 front, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are sitting there hoping that Half-Life Alyx is announced or something like that. And that would be cool. I'd like for that to be a thing for PlayStation VR 2 for people that haven't played it. But for me, what I really want is like evidence of whatever Sony's long-term strategy for that device is. Which is hopefully, like they mentioned previously, their hybrid development plan where they make games for the PlayStation 5 and they are fully playable on PlayStation VR 2 as well. So what I want to see from Sony is some evidence that that is real, that at least one or two of the, yes, Space Citizen, exactly, at least one or two of their first party games is also entirely playable in PlayStation VR 2, and that is their plan going forwards. Because that's how they cement what that device is. Half-Life Alyx 2 would be a good get and a good game, but it's one hit in the ocean and then leaves those questions going forwards on what's next. Whereas like that proper commitment, like this is how we develop games now, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I want. Whether we'll see it or not, that's a whole nother question. At this point in time, it's just like kind of a relief that they even mentioned it for the showcase. So we'll see. What else though? So Shady, you generally sneak in and kill the first enemy and then declare open war on every other enemy in the vicinity. Like, explosions everywhere, yes. Space Denizen, Sony, Meta and Apple news, all inbound, exciting times. Yes, so like the Apple VR AR headset thing announcement is supposedly imminent. If anyone's got $3,000 in their pocket, you might want to keep it there ready for that device. Meta have a gaming showcase in the first week of June, I think. I'll probably cover that on this channel because Game on Daily channel won't be having a VR show. So I'll probably be watching that live here, talk about it. Alyx needs to happen also. Yes, Alyx does need to happen, and I think like probably will happen, whether it be this showcase or not. I've already got Alyx on the PC, so it doesn't do as much for me. Do I want you to make a thumb for tomorrow night? It depends what the game is, Isla. I don't think anybody like screamed anything too strongly that they would like to see for tomorrow. Which means there's obviously like Cyberpunk and Asgard's Wrath and Warcraft 3 and all of those things are still ongoing projects that I already have thumbnails for. Somerville's not high on the list, and I already have a thumbnail for it. Thank you. Too many, like, that one's not supposed to be that good, so it's just not high on the list. Just, like, I'd like to have that. Same with Ravenlock, like it's quite a short game. I'd like to get around to it, I'd like to get through it, but it's so hard to play everything. Replicant, you suppose it depends if Valve want to keep it on their VR platform. Yeah, that doesn't sound like Valve though, right? Valve have always been like open to putting their games on console, and they've always been like, even on the PC VR side of things, they're very open to everything. Meta were always a little bit funny, and it took a little bit of a community push to get them to support Steam in any kind of way, but conversely Valve were always very open to actively supporting other headsets for Half-Life Alyx. And I get you have to buy it through Steam, so what you're saying still makes lots of sense, but I don't see Valve being particularly resistant to putting Alyx in as many places as possible based on previous handling of their own games. Are there questions coming in? That's a good question. Nobody's popped into a Discord waiting room, which again is fine. I get people don't want to do that. Option is still there. If you want to join the Game on Daily Discord and stick yourself in one of the waiting rooms, then you can come on and say your thing for a couple of minutes. And yes, there is that Q&A box. You can stick all kinds of things in there. So, Kratos, you want to see some Wolverine, even if they say a 2025 release date. So when you say you want to see some Wolverine, though, you mean some gameplay? Like you want to see actual Wolverine, or would you accept another CGI trailer? I'm not particularly interested in like another CGI trailer. If they want to show some of the game, I'll take it. Sony has blown the dust off of their mirrors and smoke machines, so it should be an entertaining show. Yeah, hopefully. So there's lots of talk that Sony don't have like much to offer this year, but Sony's showcases and big events, they've always, in my opinion, gone too far into the future, to be honest. So yes, there could be some big announcements, potentially for games that aren't that close to coming out, and lots of excitement around it. So you think they're going to be all guns blazing on the showcase? You sense confidence. I do as well. But what are we expecting to see? Name some games. What are we going to get? Like Ghost of Tsushima 2? Are we going to get something from the Bloodborne kind of side of things? Death Stranding 2 probably going to be there. Any of their service games? Does anyone care about the Konami stuff? You think Wolverine's going to be a tease like the Spider-Man 2, so CGI. Spider-Man 2 was supposed to have been in-engine though, right? The stuff that they showed ages ago. Imagine Wolverine revealed as first person with VR2 support. Never going to happen. But why is it never going to happen? This is the commitment that I'm asking Sony to make. Like, show me your hybrid development. Show me a serious first-party game that's entirely playable in virtual reality. Wolverine would be a tricky one because obviously you have different expectations on how melee will work in VR. Wouldn't it be fun though to be Wolverine for a bit? Did anyone play the Oculus Marvel game that let you be Wolverine for a bit? That wasn't very good. Someone said siphon filter. As in Ben Studio making a new siphon filter. All 10 live service games. Stream Somerville or else. Hang on a minute. Oh, I see. There's some coercion going on. You are more intimidating. No, I'm not going to mention who I was going to mention then. That's fine. I'm going to keep my mouth shut for a minute on an issue of funniness. For now. You don't think there's going to be much Spidey 2? It'll get its own state of play. It'll get both. It's got to be at this showcase. Like, it's a big marketing beat with a lot of eyes on it, so hopefully we're not going to get like 20 minutes, because you're right, there will probably be a 20-minute state of play dedicated to that game nearer the time, but we'll get at least 3 minutes of Spider-Man probably. Maybe. It's quite a long time for a trailer. At least 2 minutes of Spider-Man. At least 1.5 minutes of Spider-Man we'll get. Others have said they've been pushing 1, 2 and 3 on the Sony store. Yeah. That is like, that kind of thing is usually a viable clue. Siphon filter would be a weird one to bring back though, because I played them at the time. I remember shooting some lights in a tunnel, but I don't think there was a lot that makes them stand out as games or as an IP. But I don't know, I guess there's not too many like third-person agent James Bondy games around at the moment. Grand Theft Auto 6, wouldn't that be a thing? They've got to show it somewhere at some point, so yeah. That could be the mic drop. Boom, ending to the show. Cinematic not representative of actual gameplay for Spider-Man 2 again, even though it's only so few months on. I don't know, I think they'll show it. I think they'll show us some gameplay. We shall see though. Resistance or Killzone Trilogy remaster, you can dream. Yeah, I want to know. I want to see Insomniac's VR studio doing something. They've been tucked away. They used to make good stuff for Oculus, Meta, Facebook. Oh, you've heard about Grand Theft Auto 6. And what's like... do we have Metal Gear Solid fans? Is anyone looking forward to whatever's coming from that agreement? Some of it would be good to stream. It's an interesting game and time to talk. Well, fine, you win this round. I'll stream some of it. Not necessarily tomorrow. I'll move it up the list of things to do. Isn't it puzzles though? When you say talk, is it just going to be like me getting frustrated and you laughing at me? Death Stranding 2, yes please. Do we have Death Stranding fans? No, Isla, it wasn't bullying, it was coercion. You see how the bullying attempt got completely ignored? But the coercive, like, actually that would be a good stream, it would be very interesting and we'd have a nice time talking. That was effective. So now you know. See, I didn't particularly get along with Death Stranding. But it's one of those games that you can see it and you can respect elements of it without playing it that far. It's free on Epic, yeah. I've got yeah, the director's cut is on PlayStation, right? On PlayStation Plus or whatever, so I've got options on ways to play it for free, but I don't know, it's a lot of walking. No, like Peter, this is going to backfire horribly. I'm going to play Somerville by myself offline just to be petty and spiteful now. Space Denizen, you love Metal Gear Solid 1 and 5, but not 2, 3, and 4. Tom, you've not played a Metal Gear Solid game. That early Metal Gear period was during your gaming timeout. Have you missed as much as some claim? Well, I couldn't make that claim because they're stealth games and I fell right off them. I played the first Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1 and it took like... I swear, like, I could be completely misremembering, but I swear it took like an hour and a half to play that whole game. From start to finish. With a few deaths on, like, there was a horrible fight with a tank. That was a bit of a pain. You had to guess or remember where the landmines were to run around this tank. But apart from that, it was very quick and smooth, like really short game. But it was stealth, and I don't really like stealth. And yet you see things. You see like, oh, look how incredible Kojima is. How he predicted this, that, and the other through the Metal Gear games, and there's some stuff in there that's like, oh, that does look like it would actually be really interesting to follow the story of. If you just took out the bloody crappy stealth gameplay element, which is the whole game. You played half of 5, but you got bored. I've heard, like, Gaz talks about 5 a bit, being quite overrated, he says. Like, very repetitive, very samey environments. And has a character who wears a bikini top because she can only breathe through her skin. Or something. What happened? Oh, I don't know. Don't be confident. I'm unreliable. And so Shady, so you're saying that it doesn't need a platform showcase to get hype, but Rockstar normally partner with someone, right? You're absolutely right that obviously Grand Theft Auto has like power and recognition for Take-Two and Rockstar to announce it wherever they want. They could whisper it in like a, I don't know, a shopping parade or something, and word would get everywhere. But I think they do normally partner with someone. They do normally have marketing deals and all the rest of it. Despite, I don't know, it's just extra money for them, I suppose. God Emperor Sofa King, you don't think that Sony has the money? It depends who else is willing to bid against them. They're all dumb as hell as far as you can tell, but cool and fun at the same time. You reckon the Metal Gear Solid games are dumb as hell? The stealth elements are definitely dumb as hell. Like it's bad stealth mechanics, but I don't think the story necessarily is. Talked earlier about what we would do if in charge of Xbox, so it's money hack Grand Theft Auto 6, but what would you do with it? Because Grand Theft Auto 6, if you money hack it and promote it to sell consoles and stuff, then you're still not hitting that 500 million number, right? But if you could find a way to push it beyond that, then you might have a viable way into many homes. So would you money hack Grand Theft Auto 6 and say, I need a version that can run on this like TV processor? Or would you say we're going to push the cloud everywhere off the back of this game? Yeah, cloud's the answer there, isn't it? But you make hot chocolate and get angry. You don't make him, I will turn into your arch nemesis. That's dramatic. Will you still make my thumbnails? Arch nemesis that gets thumbnails. I don't want to be an arch nemesis, I don't think. Or maybe I do. Not yours. To be honest, if you were Xbox, you would money hack Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, it's read better. I can't. Oh, I see. Peter's literally telling you to withdraw thumbnail. Yeah, I missed the message. I missed Peter's message. I'm trying. I'm reading as well as I can, as fast as I can, and vaguely in sequence, but not entirely. Tom's not a fan of Stealth 2. Hey! I read yours way wrong. Well, you're welcome. So, money hack in Grand Theft Auto 6 is a fine idea. The thing that I still think is probably, much as I appreciate the decision, but the thing that's probably Phil Spencer's biggest mistake is that they like opted out of money hacking Call of Duty 10 years ago. So that would be like a significant change of course that would be representing an Xbox that has decided that they do want to fight in that particular gutter, which I know some people want of them. It would be effective. Like, it's definitely an effective strategy to money out the well-established IP and stuff. You say Satya does it. Yes, you would have that kind of power if you were Xbox. That was a huge mistake, losing COD, like financially, in terms of doing sound business. Well, in terms of the console space, yeah, huge mistake, definitely costly in that regard. But I still like that they did it, because I still, as me playing games, didn't benefit from Call of Duty money hats. And I wish that neither Microsoft nor Sony would give Activision a penny for that shit. And then everything would be better, because Call of Duty would still get made, sell, and be the game that it is. And all of this shitty exclusive time nonsense wouldn't be there. But that's not the industry, right? Sony are definitely going to money hat everything they can. Wayne, although you hate any money hatting, you would do it to show Sony, look, we can do it with a bigger wallet. Then maybe it would stop both sides. Microsoft have always been able to do it with a bigger wallet though, and it's never stopped Sony so far. Because obviously, like, throughout the Xbox 360 era, Microsoft very much partook. Just agree to Somerville and my problems are over. Oh, Peter, I've got so many more problems than that. You hate money hating. Everybody hates money hating, and yeah, money hating doesn't benefit us. It's like, at the same time, I can recognize and acknowledge that it is effective, and Microsoft would be in a much stronger position if they had kept shitty Call of Duty under their hat. It is what it is. Let's move on. So nobody has any solid guesses or anything for the PlayStation showcase. It's not true. Some of you have said some things. Do you know what I was asked today, like, who's my favorite villain in a video game? And for some reason, this isn't like my favorite villain. That's too much of an absolute question for me, but I was just thinking through really good villain characters. And then I realized I'm a massive fraud, because one of the characters that ran through my mind was the Mongolian fella from Ghost of Tsushima as a really freaking good enemy. Because without is it spoilers? I'll avoid what he does in terms of twisting characters around you. But it made me remember, like, oh, for that character to stand out as a really good video game villain, Ghost of Tsushima was probably a really good game. So I should go back and finish that, right? Okay, V, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure how real that is, John Rocks. I mean, it's probably real, but yeah, maybe we get a release date for it. But yeah, the villain from that was like, oh, there's some good writing here. I should play it. I should play Ghost of Tsushima. I played it for about 10 hours and got bored of it, and then decided to start it again for the sake of streaming. So I started again for the sake of streaming, but in my second playthrough I decided I'm not chasing foxes and having baths and cutting bamboo. I'm going to play the good stuff and only the good stuff, and it's going to be entertaining and everyone's going to have a good time. And I played it and 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 got quite a lot of hours in. I'm going to say 50, but I am plucking that number straight from my ass. I don't really know how many hours. Played it, did loads of side stuff, having a good time. Gotta be over soon, playing it, gotta be over soon. Did this bit that I've been looking for frickin' ages. Chapter 2. No. Why are these games so long? And this is the kind of thing that I'm facing on Horizon Forbidden West at the moment. Games can be so long. And it's when I was talking earlier about not wanting the industry to move away from certain things that I enjoy. These massive games are a thing that I enjoy, but I struggle with them at the same time. Struggle to get through them. Horizon Forbidden West, I'm like 50 hours in, and this time I'm not plucking the number from my ass, although that might be where I got it from the first time. About 50 hours into that one, not that close to the end. Ghost of Tsushima, not that close to the end. It took me like 3 separate periods of playing to get through The Witcher 3 because it's huge. Stanley Parable villain protagonist. No, he's friendly. The narrator in the Stanley Parable's cool. He's not a memorable villain. Andrew Ryan is a memorable villain, yes. Read better. What? Because you said villain protagonist. Stanley is the villain. Is he? Then I have completely misunderstood that game. But also no, it's definitely not standing up as like having a good villain in it. That's your opinion. So did you take a particular ending of the Stanley Parable to be like this one is canon or something? Because I didn't really take that as that kind of game at all. Anyway, let's why not throw them in there while we move on to the next topic? If you've got any like particular games where you'd say that was a really cool villain that stands out in your mind, either because they're so terribly bad and evil, so well written, so just anything about them makes them pop in your brain when you think of villains. Because the other one that popped straight away for me was Sephiroth, but I don't really know why. Like, I don't think it was a particularly well-written character necessarily. Iconic character and pops for that reason, but not actually a good villain necessarily. And I'm sure there are many, many others. What game do I want to see from Sony / PlayStation 5? Handsome Jack, if you like the Borderlands series. Yeah, that's a good shout. Very memorable villain. What do I want to see from Sony? I mean, I've already mentioned that the main thing I want from it is not a game per se. It's cementing the future of the PlayStation VR 2. So that would be one of their major games, like a Spider-Man or even if they were bringing back like the first Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. Full VR support for a full Sony game is what I want to see. There's not like a singular game that I would want more than that thing. That is the thing that I most want. And I do think, whether it's at this showcase or not, I think From Software are doing something with Sony that's probably quite exciting as well. The villain that you loved from Zod was Superman. No, the villain that you loved was Zod from Superman. Yeah, but that's cheating, Kratos. That's not a game. Game villains. The villain which you shall not spoil from Nier Automata. I've played that through in its entirety, more than, like, obviously. Did I get, like, would I say I've finished it? I don't know. I did, like, I got through to the weird endings that go into the 2D shooty nonsense, various other things. In video games, you think Neo Cortex. Oh, Crash Bandicoot's not a series that I fondled, so that's what I'm going to say from now on. Rather than games, I'm going to say fondled. You can't tell you your opinion. You were allowed your opinion. You said Stanley, like, it was a viable talking point, just not a memorable like villain to me. So you don't need to change opinion just because of that. Vaz from Far Cry is like, I hear that one come up all the time. Again, I haven't played it, but he comes up through quality of acting, right? Dr. Robotnik isn't a good villain. Like, I get the iconic character and whatnot. I also like that you called him Dr. Robotnik and not Eggman, so good job on that one. But he's a pathetic villain though, really, right? Like, yeah. And Wario, like Mario and all related characters can get in the bin. I would be a great villain in the next Bond movie. I will volunteer my services. No, I won't. Like, I will offer my services for cash money, not volunteering. Volunteering to be in a major movie, that would be silly. So, shall we do the last topic? No, sod the last topic. It's 20 past 11. The last topic's put in the bin. So what I was going to do was talk a little bit about fighting games, because the Mortal Kombat 1 trailer came out today. I haven't actually watched it yet. I'm going to do that. You were not read. You not read. Background. No one's got the background yet. He's good in that he's an iconic villain, not villainous but still good. Yes, Tom, and I did ask for anything that just like pops as a villain, so it does count. I'm not taking your answer away. It's a bit bloody. The Mortal Kombat thing, no, that's alright. Let's have a look at the trailer. So I'm not going to do, I was going to open that into a conversation, because obviously this year we've got Mortal Kombat, we've got Street Fighter 6, we've got Tekken 8. Like, kind of the big three fighting games. There's others that I like. I like Killer Instinct and Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive and Virtua Fighter and all those kind of things, but three of the very big ones are all coming up at about the same time. And I was going to open that into a conversation about which ones like historically you like, and which ones out of the upcoming wave that you like, and all the rest of it, and talk about those. But it's 20 past 11 and I'm going to bypass that. But what I am going to do, because I haven't actually seen the Mortal Kombat 1 trailer yet, is I'm going to mute the OST. No, go away, that's not right. I'm going to mute the OST, find the trailer. Oh, here it is on the official channel actually. Watch it. Does it have volume? It doesn't yet. So this is the trailer that came today for Mortal Kombat. Let's do it big mode.
Time to wake up.
I don't like Mortal Kombat.
To a new reality. To a blank canvas that I have painted in with warmth and peace. In my new era, the choice is yours. Whether to live in quiet serenity or bloody strife.
Show me the game.
To dwell in joyous prosperity or bitter rivalry. You can face each other
I don't care about the story.
as sworn enemies.
Of course, you're going to fight
Or
each other.
united as brothers.
Or unite as brothers and look at the eclipse.
But a storm is brewing. And soon you will discover
Really loud, isn't it? Sorry.
that even in this new
Sorry, I put that on too loud.
one constant remains.
Show me the game. Don't give a shit about the
Always
story of Mortal
something
Kombat.
worth fighting for.
See, it looks really violent. But don't worry, all of these characters are still alive. Because that's Mortal Kombat.
You have chosen to defy peace. Then you have chosen war with a god.
I find the Mortal Kombat gore so freaking childish. Mortal Kombat 1. Blood everywhere. Pre-order to get some shit. Look at this fucking gore though. Yes, Space Denizen, there's definitely a lot of gore in a Mortal Kombat game. And they kind of substitute that in for good gameplay. It's like, and there's a line of movies like Hostel and stuff that's like shock gore. And I swear it's like written by 13-year-olds. That's the feel that I get from Mortal Kombat gore is like, this was written by 13-year-olds, wasn't it? Like you asked them for ideas of what would be really disgusting and made a game out of it. Oh well. Yeah, no gameplay in there, not very much to see from that trailer, kind of disappointing in that sense. I think, so for me, I never got along with the Mortal Kombat series, except I think from Mortal Kombat, maybe from 10, maybe it was a little bit earlier than that, they started doing like trying to deliver a story really well with really impressive like facial animation and stuff like that was on a par with more cinematic games. So they took it in a cinematic direction that I did appreciate and would play for the sake of it, even though the story seemed to be complete nonsense. It offered something to make it worth playing, and I think over time they did get better at smoothing off the actual fighting, like the key part of a fighting game and how it feels to play. They definitely added like some depth and complexity to it, but yeah, it's just not my favourite of the fighting games. Still a better love story than Twilight, probably. Having little experience of both stories, like I've definitely played the Mortal Kombat 10 story at least, and I can't remember any of it, which would put it on a par with Twilight, which I've not seen Twilight, but you've definitely told me some Twilight stuff, yes, but actually besides a baby having a silly name, I can't remember much about it. I know you told me, yes. I remember bits of it. So yeah, their love stories on a par. Tom, you can't do fighting games. I don't think I'm good at fighting games. Yes, Isla, I do, but not right here, not right now. I used to play, so Street Fighter 2 was one that I played a fair amount, and I got quite good at one of the Dead or Alives that had a counter system that I got along with. But besides that, if I were to like hit the online space and play them, I'd probably be awful, and I think that's a thing that I should do. I think I should get one of these major fighting games and play it online and be awful on stream, so you can watch my progress and then laugh at me when I remain awful. I'm going to give you, because we're going to wrap up now, we're going to move on to any questions that have come in, but if you are watching live at the moment and you still want to throw in your guesses in the background, I'm surprised that no one's got it, and the reason I'm surprised that no one's got it is a not very recent but quite recent Game Pass release. I think it's also on PlayStation Plus in some guys as well, so I thought more people would have played it and seen it. It's right at the start of a Game Pass game. You only play campaign. Yes, Space Denizen. For the last 20 years, I've only played the campaign. Like I say, I played one of the Dead or Alive games online a little bit. I quite like Soul Calibur as well. That was a game that I enjoyed, but it was Dreamcast Soul Calibur, which had quite an interesting campaign to play through. So I spent my time offline on that, or playing locally with people that weren't very good. Taking them online and playing against the frame counters and people that understand all these mechanisms, I'll get destroyed. But that's what people tune in to see, right? Hopefully, maybe. It takes a lot of time and dedication to be good at a fighter. Well, like most multiplayer games, if you want to be actually good, they take a lot of time, don't they? Ravenlock. This is not Ravenlock, no. Ravenlock is colourful voxel stuff, right? I've not played Ravenlock, but I don't think it goes anywhere lightningy and swirly. Let's do either. You're making hot chocolate. Okay, can I give you a minute because you're making hot chocolate, so you're not able to put the questions up? I understand. Yes, you can have a minute. Make a really good hot chocolate and let us know when you're back. So, Tom, it's not just you that's shy at these games then, you feel a little bit better. I'm going to fight you. Buy one of them. I lean towards Street Fighter because of the three, Street Fighter is the series that I previously enjoyed some iteration of. But Street Fighter is also the one that looks a bit wank in the current iteration. I'm told that maybe the demo just doesn't look as good as the game. The demo they put on consoles a week or two back was just like some way below what the game actually looks like. Benedict Fox. I can see why you might think that there's a 2D perspective going on, like a character might be hidden behind me that could be walking across there, but no, it's not Benedict Fox. Oh, yeah, Isla, we could have community beat me up time. I don't know, like I'd have to actually get a fighting game and see how the kind of lobby system worked. But yeah, we could do that. Only after I've practiced, and I'm definitely going to win though. I'll book a couple of months of holiday and just get good at something. No, I won't. I'll get destroyed. Smash, not like Smash Brothers though, right? Not the Nintendo game. Superland, you just mash the buttons. Yes, mashing the buttons is good. What happened to Bugs Bunny Brothers Brawl? Funnily enough, Isla, they left it on the market for quite a while and then went, beta's over, we're taking this offline now. And it went away, like it literally went away. And people went, hang on a minute, I bought costumes for Bugs Bunny. And Warner Brothers went. And that was it. In theory, it's coming back at some point. Maybe. Like it will get relaunched. In practice, it had like a massive popularity spike when it came out. Got a nice little viral marketing boost. A couple of days later, everybody stopped playing it. And then a couple of months later, everybody had still stopped playing it. Adding like Rick and Morty didn't give it any significant boost. And then they just took it away. Can we play that? I don't think you can. I think it's literally gone, like unplayable now. Maybe when the price comes down, I honestly prefer a good hack and slash or Souls type game when it comes to combat. That yeah, like those games, if they're trying to sell at 60, 70 quid or whatever money is, if they're 70 monies games for a beat 'em up, it is a lot to ask. I don't know, maybe they're not, maybe they're cheaper. Or maybe they're going the Dead or Alive route, where they'll sell like underwear packs for the next 12 years. Some people must be buying them because they keep on selling them. Isla, are you back? Are you able to throw up a question? Lords of the Fallen is going to be a great Game Pass game. Is that on Game Pass? I didn't realise. The trailer looked nice. Nearly back. 1 minute. Right. Let's look at Lords of the Fallen while you continue to make your drink. I'm gonna do this one no volume. It's on the Xbox channel today. So find that quick. Zoom, zoom, zoom. No, Xbox have blocked me. No, the channel's a mess. Expert versus expert. What's all of this nonsense? Show me the freaking video. Stupid Xbox channel. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Open it up. Here comes Lords of the Fallen gameplay trailer from 9 hours ago. Leave this one in the small without the sound, because that would do. Mornstead has fallen. Its great army decimated by the legions of Adir, the demon god. I'm not going to read it. Not going to read it. You can read it. Or ignore it. That's your choice. You always enjoy Souls-like games. Replicant, tell me about that. Because Souls-like games, you've obviously got the From Software line. Normally, the off-Souls games made by other studios, like the first Lord of the Fallen, don't fare so well. Do you like the off ones as well? Like the Mortal Shell or whatever it was called, and what was the fiery one called? I don't know. The many offshoot ones that aren't made by From, but try and replicate the feel and the difficulty. Do you enjoy those as well? There'll be 70 and sell garish underwear packs. Can I buy just the underwear packs and not the game? So what are the answers that you failed to glean? Oh, but the thing is, Peter, there's going to be thousands of people watching this after the fact. Tom, don't say monotone reading. That's like, that hurts me. It makes me feel like I need to like high and low all over the place, and then I'll get a sore throat. So you got it. What did you get? You got the background? Very expressive with minimal tones. Right, you're getting my snowman rendition. teach you about tones. You get that I don't want to say. No, I will say, because like literally nobody actually goes into the comments and mentions the game. So there will be opportunity. I will share it after we've done the questions. You're still thinking no spoil? Fine. Fine. If people don't want it spoiled, I will not spoil it. Wait, Lords of the Fallen is still playing. There's fire, there's jumping, there's darkness. Raiden's there from Mortal Kombat. And that guy got eaten. Yep, they're familiar styled executions and some spells and some wings. That was a Final Fantasy character. And... oh, sexy. Nothing about that was actually sexy. Okay, Lords of the Fallen. Am I gonna get it? Am I gonna play it? It's not high on my list. Because I haven't finished Elden Ring yet. We shall see. Looks alright. Don't know. I imagine there's a fair amount, like, environments are big and enemies are very soulsy. And dodging through attacks is definitely a thing. Oh, there's more, it's gone, it's fine. It's a bit fluffy. What's a bit fluffy? The background? No, it's fine, Tom. Not a problem at all. No apology required. Is it Subnautica? What, the background? Subnautica takes place under the sea. This appears to take place on the back of a dragon. Or... I can see why you might think that's under the sea, but no, I don't. I think that's supposed to be the sky. Well, there's lightning, so it can't be under the sea, right? Subnautica 2, that's all icy, right? No, there is ice here, but no, this is not Subnautica 2. It is not Subnautica. So. Oh wait, question 1's up there. Hang about. Sub-Zero, whatever, you can keep trying. So, confessions. I have been addicted to games since the Atari 2600. 46 years, still alive and happy. Just so you know, Peter, Q&A box there is not anonymous, so any confessions that you make are named confessions. That one's not embarrassing though, so you're alright. You got away with it. And yeah, keep at it. It's so cool to have seen them evolve from that point. I don't know what I would prefer, like to see them from the start, or to be later on and see them from the point that they told stories and stuff. But either way, yeah, games are cool and they're going to stay cool. Keep on enjoying them and hope that the Terminator principle doesn't ruin everything. Will the ABK talk continue until Elder Scrolls 6 launches? Abdul, not around here it won't. But elsewhere, yes. Yes it will. Yes it will. So Elder Scrolls 6 is how many years away are we reckoning? So Starfield is about to come out and then it'll probably be another like 4 or 5 years after that. Oh damn, I hope not. Replicant, you got the platinum on Elden Ring and then went straight into getting the 1000 achievements on Xbox. Fair enough. Is that just because you love Elden Ring so much, or do you actually like the trophy and achievement hunting? You just want it as like a badge to represent how much you enjoyed that game. Or do you care for the your total score on those platforms? Peter Morland, it's okay, you can oops away. It was a fine confession. Elder Scrolls Next Gen. Chronic, do you think Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to be playable on the Xbox Series consoles? Is it a shooty game? Maybe for some of it, yeah. Got 6 years. Wait. Bit of both. Next question, please. Is it Dragon Age? Because it's got a dragon in it. I see what you've done there. It's not Dragon Age, no. Frank Jaeger. There's a name that I haven't seen in the chat. Straight in there. Welcome. What game has me most hyped for the showcase should it be announced? Ooh. Dunno. Like, because then you're talking about games I don't know exist yet. If I already know about them, then they've already been announced. So I'm excited for the ones that I do already know about. I guess I want to see what of Sony studios who are working on things I don't know about. I want to see what Sucker Punch are doing. Be it Ghost of Tsushima 2 or be it something entirely different. And that's like putting my usual VR answers to one side, because obviously love the VR stuff. Have you heard of the game in the background? Yes, you have. In the same way that I heard about Twilight. You have heard about it through conversation. But not in any great depth. Not in any great depth. Kidus Aurelia likes Dragon Age a lot. Rightly so, Dragon Age is cool. I so need to play Inquisition before Dragon Age 4 comes out, but I've got almost a year to do that. Bloodborne remake or sequel? To be honest, I would actually prefer to see a remake. I think a sequel is more likely, but I didn't play through the first one, so for me personally, selfishly, I'd like to see the first Bloodborne redone before a sequel comes. But it is selfish. If it's Halo, you've already said Halo. Oh, you got me. It's not Halo. It's not Halo. Next question, please. Although if anybody else wants to throw in, I know we've already had it in the conversation a little bit, but anybody else wants to throw in what their most anticipated PlayStation Showcase game is, or most exciting thing. Ark? Oh wait, is that your guess for the background, or is that what you want to see? Ark and Monster Hunter. The background's definitely not either of those. And I don't believe either of you are particularly looking forward to Ark or Monster Hunter at the PlayStation Showcase. So, Overwatch when? Tony? Scott Pilgrim on the Switch when? Valid questions all. But yes, we can do Overwatch, Tony. When is harder to pin down? Message me on Twitter. Tell me what time of day you're thinking would suit you, and we'll see what we can put together. I will stream it and it'll be terrible. I cannot play Overwatch for shit, especially if we're doing it on the Xbox. If you're going to ask me to hold a controller and aim in Overwatch, AJH will be the first to tell you I can't aim. I'm going to follow you around as Mercy. Oh, that's what you're after, isn't it? Also, Tony, I'm definitely going to tank your ranking, player rating, whatever, all the way down to the bottom. But if that's appealing, then I'm there for it. Peter Morlandus, does anyone, this is an open question for everyone, does anyone think that Game Pass PC could get enough traction to be a major force? Isn't the PC marketplace weirdly difficult? Game Pass on the PC is like at least as good as Game Pass on the console. At times it was better. There was a point towards the end of, I can't even remember if it was probably not last year but the year before, where Game Pass on the PC had all of the games that had gone to the console, plus it had like Crusader Kings 3 that got 9s out of 10s, and it had Flight Simulator before it was on Xbox, and it was like, whoa. And I think at that point in time it was still like a $5 a month before they had raised it. But PC gamers be stubborn, they like Steam. You've got the Epic Store sitting there giving away like literal free games on an almost weekly basis. And this isn't like this isn't free like the subscription services have free games on them. Epic just want you to log in and claim it, and they give you they've got Death Stranding on there at the moment. Literal free games, and people hate it because it's not Steam. So there are challenges. It needs a better Xbox PC app. The app, I don't actually have too many problems with the app. I've definitely had problems with the app in the past, but it seems to have been stable for the last quite a while. It's definitely not like if you fancy playing a game, you can almost always find that game on Steam, so it's still the first place to go and search. Xbox, Game Pass is doing okay. There's a fair amount on there, but as soon as you want to explore the Xbox ecosystem outside of Game Pass, then that whole app becomes almost worthless. There's very few games on there to check the deals and see what you want to actually pay for and things. But and if you look at, so at the moment, is it open or is it going to tank things? One moment. This is mildly interesting. If you have a look at the Xbox app PC thing, got a bunch of games, you got all your stuff installed. 10 points on Forspoken, something for everyone to look forward to. It's got a section that I just happened to notice, the most popular games on Steam, and the PC players accessing this thing don't have the same taste as the Xbox players. League of Legends is top on there. They've got Minecraft, Valorant, so Riot Games, even though they're not, like, their integration with Game Pass is a bit weird because these are free games and you can get some of the heroes and whatever. Football Manager and Solitaire, see if he's grounded. It's a weird list that I think is indicative of it being quite a small player base, because I don't think many people are playing Minecraft on Game Pass, because most people already own it. Nah, I don't know. Minecraft's a weird phenomenon of continued sales, so maybe it is doing well on Game Pass. Solitaire? Why is Solitaire there? Rainbow Six Siege? I don't know. It's hard to quantify these just by looking at what titles there are and how well they're doing, like which ones are popular. But I think in terms of value, it's underperforming relative to its value because PC players are stubborn, and all Microsoft can do is keep on sticking content in there and hope for the best. Will it be a serious force? It's not trivial already. It's not trivial. Death Stranding is free again on Epic today. Yeah, there we go, Chronic. This lamb is bloody awesome. Tom, that's the feedback I'm looking for. I'm glad you have managed to cook yourself another fine meal. What have you got on the lambs? Have you gone the red wine route or the mint route? You think there's great potential for Game Pass on PC if they could get it on Steam? Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't actually. This was one from ages ago, because like the reason that I'm surprised that they haven't is that you can subscribe to EA Play through Steam, which means all of the groundwork and technical framework to deliver a subscription service on Steam is already there. And there's obviously like a big conflict and overlap on the third-party catalog, which you'd think would make this is like the friction with Steam and probably with like Nintendo as well, where there is overlapping games that they're selling and giving access to through the subscription service. There's details to figure out, but those details have already been figured out with EA. So it is a genuine surprise that you cannot get Game Pass on Steam already. And you're right, that would make a massive difference to the stubborn PC lot. If it's on Steam, then it's like, it's accepted. Minecraft in Game Pass is a poor version in comparison. No, Minecraft on Game Pass, it says right there, it's Java and Bedrock. So if you get it through Game Pass, you've got... I've not explored it and tried to launch it, but you've got both versions in there through Game Pass. It's more that I'm not sure how many people would bother to launch it through Game Pass relative to people that have already bought it and had it for forever. High on Life? What about High on Life? Wait a minute. Piss draw. Wait, I'm going to read this. So this is from Peter Morland. What is my no piss strategy? When I stream for 2 or 3 hours, my audience sneak off for a wee, but it's more difficult for me. Any pointers to share? I spend most of my life massively dehydrated and I sweat all of the liquid out. I don't have an answer for that, Peter. I don't. I used to have set up for all of my streams like be right back screens that I could throw up and show, but typically I don't actually stream for all of that long. So I'd like to do longer streams. I need to set up some kind of like disruption. I'm not at the keyboard for however long, but in the meantime, like, I'm doing alright, Peter. I don't know, I got no answer for you. You didn't cook it, you got takeaway. I'm not disappointed. Takeaway's good. Takeaway is a fine option. Hope you are getting along just fine. Sharing some land with your new housemate. I assume that's what's going on. Next question, please. Clearly a born streamer. No, definitely not that, but yes. Right, Peter Morland. Games are too long. Dear Lord, I wish for many games that are fun for too long, so I can decide that you've had enough fun and stop without finishing them. Sadly, most last less than an hour. Maybe it's just you. So that's the fun lasting less than an hour, though, right? Rather than the length of the game itself. It's a weird one because the industry is definitely changing. The number of games available to play and how easy they are to access and launch through different subscription services and all the rest of it kind of it almost devalues those long games. And I play something like Horizon Forbidden West and Ghost of Tsushima and all of those, and part of me bemoans the length of it, and I'm like, I've got so many games to play, can you be shorter please? But part of me also realizes that this is like properly playing into the Terminator principle and inviting it upon myself. I don't want to get to a point where they stop making games like those because behaviors support short games with microtransactions instead. I should savor these long games. I should go, wow, that's a brilliant game, I'm so glad that it's long. And you got like outside of people that follow the news cycle and play everything that comes out, you get people that play one of those 4X games or like a Total War game or something like that, and that is their game and they will play it for decades. And there are games that are like geared towards that play style. And like part of me is like, I'd love to do that. I remember I played like World of Warcraft for the time that I played that during Wrath of the Lich King. It was pretty much all that I played, not strictly all that I played, but I played it a lot. And same for when I was playing Quake 3 and when I was playing Asheron's Call 2. And I look back on those games that I sunk so much time in and played like almost exclusively for the like months and years that I was playing them. And I wasn't having a worse time then than I'm having now. So it's like a weird one. Because I don't bemoan the fact that I've got so many games to play. That's a positive thing, it's a good thing. I'm very spoiled. And the fact that I haven't got enough time to play them is like, there's so many cool games. I want to play all of the cool games. But also I was having fun when I wasn't trying to play all of the cool games. When I was just sitting there and playing a cool game, it was also really cool. I don't know. I guess I'm always really pleased. You're Angie. Go on Discord next time. Huh? What? Why am I going to be eating food on Discord? Oh, not me. You're talking to Tom. Tom has to go on Discord and eat his food. Not sure about that. No catheter streaming. Nope, I'm okay. God Emperor Sapien Chrono Trigger needs a remaster or the sequel to it. Yes. I've never played those. And given that they're super highly rated, like favorite JRPG territory for a lot of people, I should play those. I would like them to be remastered. World of Warcraft. What? Oh no, the game's not World of Warcraft. Although World of Warcraft has a fight on a dragon's back, which is very cool. The perspective and angle isn't the same as this. But it did, putting this scene together, did very much remind me of fighting against Deathwing in Cataclysm. Is it Candy Crush? No, it's not. Is that a sign that you've given up on the game? Simple Jack, don't think I saw your name since the very start. If you are still there, or even if you're not and you watch it later, or I don't know, for anyone else's benefit, will I be joining Gaz live streaming the PlayStation Showcase? I think we're going to do that on the Game on Daily channel. Assuming that I'm back on time, it'll be a little bit tight, but yes, we should be live on the Game on Daily channel on the Wednesday to enjoy the excitement with everybody. That's the plan. Did I talk to... Don't talk to Gaz, don't be ridiculous. Next question, please. You want to watch that. Splatoon. Is the background Splatoon? No, it isn't. Ah, Simple Take, you are still there. Good. Good, good. Oh, that's it. We ran out of questions. We've ran out of questions. It has been... Oh, for fuck's sake, it's nearly 12. How did this happen? How did this happen? I was talking to Web Dave on... Whoa, what day was it? Tuesday, I think. Recorded... He calls it an interview. I don't like to call it an interview because I'm not a person to interview. We just had a chat that will be going up on his channel in a week or two. But in amongst it, he was asking about this channel and what I do here. And I mentioned that like on Go Live on the Saturdays, I have a reputation for not really saying very much, and like that show is for the guests, and I try and keep back. Even if I've got a lot to say on a topic, I don't say very much, because that's not what that show is all about. And then on my channel on a Thursday, I talk way too much. So this show has gone on for like almost 3 hours. That's crazy, and I don't know. I don't apologise because you're still here, so you must be taking something good from it. So instead of apologising, I'm going to thank you for being here and having this conversation with me. That's cool. I do need to go to sleep though. Oh, I've got work soon. No such thing as too much. Yes, there is. You can easily have too much of many things. 4 more years. 4 more years. Thank you, Replica. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Isla. Thank you, everybody that is still here. And anybody that is watching after the fact. I need to sneeze. Hold on. Ah, there we go. Should have finished like a couple of minutes earlier and then I could have sneezed elsewhere. You've seen some streamers do 13 hours. Well, if you're setting that as a challenge... not today though, not today. The background. If you are watching now and you haven't already dropped in a comment saying what the background is, I know it and you know it. I don't know it, but you know it, like for yourself. You can't now go and comment and take all of the credit after I've told you that the game is Shadow Warrior 3. Right at the start, Shadow Warrior 3. Ah, you were nearly there. Yeah. You had Splatoon and chess as your most recent guesses. You're not getting them nearly there on that one. 10 hours to go. Not today, not today. So, thank you everybody again for coming by. Like I say, tomorrow we'll have some kind of stream. I don't know what. I'm sure it'll be brilliant though. Probably, maybe not Somerville. Maybe depends on how much my arm is twisted in the meantime. And oh no, apparently I've been told that I'm wrong. You finished Shadow Warrior 3 and you didn't get it. Like, I'll grant you that this isn't the widest angle, but now that I've said it, Replicant, you recognize it in hindsight. Yeah, like armed with that knowledge, you're like, oh yeah, at the start of the game in the tutorial you ride on the back of a dragon like this, right? Yeah. It is quite a zoomed in, like, focused view that you might not quite... You do recognize it now. Good. Klonoa, the game, we've already had the answer. It's Shadow Warrior 3. Nice try on... No, I know what you're saying. I'm winding you up. Thank you everybody for coming along, and I'll see you again in the near future. Oh, do the hitting the like button and stuff. That's really, like, helpful, probably. See ya.